Hello, fans, and welcome to This Day in Baseball, where we're going to bring you a full radio broadcast of today's game. And before we do that, I just want to thank Classic Baseball Radio, and there's a link in the notes where you can check out their full channel. They have many great radio broadcasts. And while you're listening to today's game, if you want to check out much more about the game and the players, look on the links below, and you're going to see links to player pages, the date the game happened, the year it happened, and the play-by-play. Enjoy the game, and check out the links while you're watching the game, and please don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that every time new content comes out, you're going to get that firsthand. And thank you again for checking out This Day in Baseball, and enjoy the game.
Well, back here at Shea Stadium, it looks like we won't have a second ball game because banners are still all over the playing field, and believe me, it's a mighty colorful pictures. We take a look down as the banners stream around the outside perimeter of the ballpark. This is Ralph Gander along with Lindsey Nelson and Bob Murphy from Shea Stadium, and we will have a second ball game as the starting pitchers are warming up. It's going to be Dick Ellsworth pitching for Chicago. Dick pressed in the service because Ernie Broglio, the scheduled pitcher for the Cubs, came up with a sore right elbow. Ellsworth, with a fine record this year, he has won 12 ball games and lost 14. And going for the New York Mets, their newcomer, Dennis Ryburn. Dennis with a record of 1 win and 1 loss. His last time out, a fine shutout as he struck out 10 batters. So while they continue their parade on around by home plate, here are the starting lineups for the second game. For the Chicago Cubs, Jim Stewart will lead off and play second base. Batting second, playing right field, Doug Clemens. Batting third in left field, Bill Williams. Bill has hit in 10 consecutive ball games. Batting fourth and playing third base, Ron Santo. Batting fifth at first base, Len Gabrielson. Batting in the sixth position in center field, Billy Cowan. Batting seventh and catching, Jim Schaefer. The eighth batter will be the shortstop, Andre Rogers. And on the mound, batting ninth, Dick Ellsworth. Cubs now have a record of 57 wins and 66 losses. Mets and Cubs have played 8 ball games here in Shea Stadium, and they stand all even at 4 apiece. And this final game here, the second game of the doubleheader between the Cubs and the Mets, will decide the championship between these two clubs right here in Shea. The team the National League spreads none other than the New York Mets, and an animated banner as they have a little paper hand moving around in back of a picture of Casey Stengel. For the New York Mets, it'll be Bobby Krause leading off and playing third base. Batting second and playing second base, Ron Hunt. The third batter will be Joe Christopher in right field. Batting fourth, George Altman, who scored the tie-breaking run in the bottom half of the 10th inning. George will be playing in left field. Batting fifth in center field, Jim Hickman. The sixth batter will be the shortstop, Charlie Smith. Batting seventh, Ed Greenpool, the hero of the first ball game. His single with the bases loaded in the 10th won the game for the Mets 2-1. Ed will be at first base. Batting eighth and catching, Chris Canizero, and Dennis Ryburn, the pitcher, will bat ninth. Now the New York Mets run out on the field, and they have a banner for the crowd here. Let's see what it says. Bringing it out now as they roll it out. It shows a picture of 9 Mets to all of, as it comes on out, the Mets fans. You are the greatest. And this batter carried out by 7 ball players, and the final one, Rod Canillo dropping the end of it, and it fell down. But it says, to all of the Mets fans, you are the greatest. So as a fitting climax to Banner Day, the Mets returning the courtesy with a banner of their own for their fans. This banner, a good 100 feet long, and stretched all the way from first base to second. Well, the banners are off the field. The umpires for the second ball game getting set to go out to home plate. It'll be Shag Crawford at the plate. Behind first base will be Ed Fargo. Behind second, Al Foreman, and the third base umpire, Bill Jakowski. And now they're announcing the winners of the contest. And we'll see if we can pick up the action on the field.
First prize, 3.
Second prize, Santa Claus, is now a Met. Two-man category. First prize, extremism in defense of the Mets is no vice. In a one-man category, the first prize was the simple word pray, P-R-A-Y. So in the more than one category, extremism in defense of the Mets is no vice. Prizes being judged by the New York sports writers. Pretty tough decision here because we had untold banners at the ballpark. Now, placard looking like a baseball being carried out on the field and tears running out of the eyes of the face painted on the baseball, like the portrayal of the little Mets. Ball game still being held up here at Shea Stadium as we try to dissolve and resolve the winners of the Banner Day attraction between the two ball games. There's another sign that won a prize. Is the Met dynasty crumbling? Two big question marks. There'll be a complete report on the prize winners in the daily newspapers. We Try Harder, we're only number 10. Is another one of the winners. It's really been a lot of fun. And another prize winner was Wilbur Huckle for president. Now, if you don't know who Wilbur Huckle is, you're just as well off. Wilbur is one of the minor league farm players in the Mets organization, the shortstop for that matter. Photographers taking pictures of the winning banners right down here. And one of the boys who was carrying the two-men banner finally got out of the stands, out of the field. They're really a happy bunch of boys. Now another winner coming out of the stands, two-man category. Having a little trouble unfolding the banner as one of the boys has a hot dog and also a Coke in one of his hands. This banner is number 619, so you can imagine how many they had here during the ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for your participation in the second annual Banner Day.
And there's the thanks by Mr. Lee for participation in the second annual Banner Day.
Your attention, please. Ladies and gentlemen, here are the starting lineups
Now the starting lineups for the game being announced.
for the second game.
Mets playing the Chicago Cubs for the final time here at Shea Stadium. Mets go on a short road trip. They go to Cincinnati and then Chicago. Come back home to play against the San Francisco Giants. Mets will return home on September 1st to play a night game against the Giants on Tuesday. They'll also have a night game against San Francisco on Wednesday, the 2nd of September, and then follow with a ladies' day game, the final appearance for the Giants, on Thursday. After the Giants, a twilight doubleheader with the Los Angeles Dodgers. That game will be started at 6 o'clock. Then a night game on Saturday night, the final night game on Saturday of the 1964 season. Dodgers playing that night. And a single day game on Sunday. Game time for that one will be at 2 o'clock. Night game, incidentally, will start at 8 o'clock. After the Dodgers leave town, a doubleheader scheduled on Labor Day with the Houston Colt 45. Mets will then have the 8th of September off and play Milwaukee a night game on the 9th and a single-day game on the 10th, and then take a road trip to Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Houston, and we return home against St. Louis, and then follow that up with Cincinnati.
Ellsworth, number 37.
Now Dennis Ryman taking his warm-up pitches out on the pitcher's mound. A little bit tough on the pitchers here today because they warmed up figuring the game to start at the scheduled time of 20 minutes to 5. So they have cooled off, and now Dennis is warming up for the second time, preparatory to starting the ball game. Manager Casey Stengel coming out with his lineup card. Mets winning the second game of the 3-game series, now playing the fourth. First game saw strategy pulled all the way around by Bob Kennedy and also by manager Casey Stengel, with Casey coming out on top when Ed Kranepool, a left-hand batter, singled with the bases loaded against the left-hand pitcher, Lee Gregory. First game of the series was won by the Mets by a score of 7-0 when Jack Fisher went 9 innings, gave up no runs, and allowed 7 base hits. Fisher was the 5th pitcher for the Mets in succession to go all the way and pick up a win as the Mets extended their win streak to 5 consecutive ball games. They lost the second game 3-2 as Larry Jackson stopped their winning streak, and the losing pitcher in that game was Gary Kroll. Gary looked impressive on the mound for the Mets as he worked a total of 6 innings, gave up 3 runs, allowed 6 base hits. But during his stint on the mound, he struck out 8, and he gave up 5 of the 6 base hits in the 5th and 6th innings when he was tiring. Cubs won at 3-2, scoring 3 runs in the 5th inning off Gary Kroll. Mets bounced back to win in 10 innings, the 3rd ball game, 2-1, as the winning pitcher was Bill Hunter, his 2nd win of the year. He has lost 1. Bill worked 2/3 of the 10th inning to pick up the win. It was his 25th appearance on the mound. Now the Mets have taken the field, and before we start this ball game, we'll pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network. Ralph Gander along with Bob Murphy and Lindsey Nelson from Shea Stadium. The ball game about to get underway. For the Mets defensively, Ed Kranepool at first base. At second base, Ron Hunt. The shortstop is Charlie Smith. The third baseman, Bobby Klaus. The catcher, Chris Canizero. In the outfield, George Altman in left field, Jim Hickman in center field, and Joe Christopher in right. On the mound, Dennis Ryman, and his first pitch of the ball game to the leadoff batter, Jimmy Stewart. And the pitch is popped in the air into shallow left field. High in the air, giving George Altman time to get to it, and he makes the catch. So this ball game has started just like the first game of the doubleheader. The first pitch hit by the leadoff batter for an out. That'll bring up Doug Clemens, the right fielder. Stewart batting .244 before flying out to left field. Doug Clemens coming on batting .247. Dennis Ryman with a record of 1 win and 1 loss. This is his 4th appearance, his 2nd start for the New York Mets. He was 8-2 at Denver in the Pacific Coast League. And his first pitch is hit looped in the right field. A slow start by Christopher. He comes on, drops the ball, kicks it into center field. And going to second base is Doug Clemens. Ball hurriedly picked up by Ron Hunt after he had juggled it. And they're scoring that a 2-base hit. Joe Christopher got a very late start on the ball and then tried to come on and catch it. He got the glove on it and went off his glove, and he hit it with his knee, ball bouncing about 200 feet away, and Ron Hunt picked it up in center field. Joe now taking time to go back to his right field position, and while he's doing so, he is checking his left hand. He might have jammed a thumb or a finger on that play. It scored a 2-base hit. So on the misjudged fly ball in right field, Cubs pick up the first hit of the ball game, and now the batter is Bill Williams, left-hand batter, and he takes the first pitch high and outside. It's ball 1. Williams batting .331, second in the National League batting race. Now time is called as Gus Marsh is going out to check on Joe Christopher in right field. Joe's still having some difficulty. Gus having to run all the way out to right field. Christopher's just standing in his normal spot. Now Gus arriving and checking out the right hand of Joe Christopher. And Joe, now having his injured hand serviced with the freezing medicine that they use to more or less take the sting out of the injury. This is not done to keep a ball player in the game. If he were injured to the extent that he shouldn't play, they would always take him out of the ball game. It only deadens the pain and temporarily relieves any suffering that the ball player might have. It's certainly a good device for helping your person out. And now Joe is evidently okay, and Gus is going to go out by the bullpen exit, as that is much closer than the dugout. Joe staying in the ball game. At the end of 3, San Francisco 2, St. Louis nothing. Ray Sadecki on the mound for the Cardinals. Gaylord Perry pitching for the Giants. At the end of 4, the Dodgers won, Cincinnati nothing. O'Toole pitching for the Reds. Ortega going for the Dodgers. Now time is in. The pitch back to the plate is outside for ball 2, and Chris Canizero goes out to the pitching mound. Chris now back behind home plate. 2 ball, no strike count on Bill Williams. Bill with 26 home runs to lead the club. He has driven in 70 runs. Takes a 10-game batting streak into this ball game. Now the pitch to the plate. Fouled back in the screen, just over the top of it. It's strike 1. Two balls and 1 strike. Doug Clemens at second base. 1 man out, top of the first inning. And the pitch back to Williams, just a little bit low for ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike. Dennis Ryburn, 22 years of age, 5'11", 165 pounds, from Hamilton, Ontario. He was raised in Detroit, married a girl from Canada. Next pitch it off the end of the bat down to third. A twisting ground ball picked up by Bobby Klaus. He holds the runner at second base, throws the first to Cranepool. He is out at first, and Cranepool fires down to second. And the throw arrived just a little bit too late as the Mets just missed getting Doug Clemens at second base. That was a hard chance for the third baseman as the ball was spinning off the end of the bat on down to third. Now with 2 away, the batter will be Ron Santo. Ron batting .327, no hits in the first game, 24 home runs and 90 runs batted in. Last year, Ron drove in 99 runs, and he leads the National League in RBIs up to this point. Right-hand batter, the first pitch is low and inside, ball 1. One ball, no strikes. 2 men away, top of the first. Dennis Ryburn, a look at second base and back to the plate with a curveball that's outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Two balls, no strikes. Sign given to the pitcher by Chris Canizero. And the pitch back to Sano is in there for a called strike. Fastball just above the knees. Terry Crawford, the umpire behind home plate. Ed Vargo at first base. Al Foreman, the umpire at second base. Bill Jakowski, the umpire at third. Robert at 2-1. And a hard swing at a breaking pitch. Strike 2. Pitch on the outside corner, and Ron Sano going around with a hard swing. Count evens out at 2 balls and 2 strikes, and on the swing, Sano kicks some dirt in the plate, and Shag Crawford is dusting the plate off. Warm, summery afternoon. Right at this moment, the sun has gone behind some clouds. And the 2-2 delivery backhanded low and outside by Chris Canizero. And the count fills to 3 balls and 2 strikes with Len Gabrielson, the left-hand batter, on deck. Cubs batting in the top of the first. They have a runner at second base on a 2-base hit. And the 3-2 delivery popped up in the air back of home plate. It'll go out of play. Ball bouncing out of the fourth deck on down into the lower box seats. And lucky spectator with a souvenir baseball. Start of this game delayed 20 minutes due to the banners that paraded on the field. Somewhere around 700 banners shown between games. Boy, that's brought a boom to the sheet market. Some of the banners big enough for sale. 3-2 pitch, and on the ground, backhanded by Charlie Smith. A long goal to first, and not in time. A.J. Stengel coming out of the dugout to argue with the first base umpire, Ed Bargle. Now, Bargle walking over to Stengel, and Stengel going on out. Charlie Smith, playing short, came up with the ball deep in the hole. His throw to first base, arriving just about the time that the base runner Ron Sano got there. And Ed Bargle calling the runner safe. On the play, moving to third base, Doug Clemens. And now the Cubs have runners at first and third with 2 men away. And the batter will be Len Gabrielson, a left-hand batter. Gabrielson batting .267. He was a pinch hitter in the first ball game and doubled and scored the tying run for Chicago when they tied the ball game up in the 7th inning. Gabrielson with 2 home runs and 14 runs batted in. And the first pitch. Down low for ball 1. 1 ball, no strike. Now Ed Buhl giving the sign that he's going to play behind the runner at first base, extending his defensive position by about 3 steps. Pitch back to the plate is outside for ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Dennis Ryburn asking for a new ball. Dennis off to a shaky start. Now his runners at first and third on 2 very doubtful plays. Two balls, no strikes. And the next pitch. Hard smash to first, knocked down by Buhl. He's over to pick it up in foul territory. The throw to first base is in time. Gabrielson knocks over Ryburn as he moves on down the line, and the play made on a good play by Dennis Ryburn. A hard one-hop smash that Buhl knocked down. The ball rolled about 30 feet away in foul territory. Buhl went over to pick it up, and Ryburn, hustling off the mound, got to first base just in time, and he completed the play, and that retires the stride. In the inning, no runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 men left on base, and the score at the end of 1.5 innings, the Cubs nothing, the New York Mets coming to bat. Now here's the music that says, Rango got it cold.
There's a lot of living being done, a lot of living and a lot of fun, where true beer lovers meet. Along the Rango East. Rango is as good to your taste as it is to your thirst, 'cause it's brewed extra dry. Rango is as good to your taste as it is to your thirst. So get where the living's being done, where the action is, and all the fun on the Rango side of the street. Along the Rango East. Rango is as good to your taste as it is to your thirst, 'cause it's brewed extra dry. Rango is as good to your taste
one half of the first inning. The first man up for the Mets will be Bobby Klaus, followed by Ron Hunt and then Joe Christopher. Dick Ellsworth on the mound for the Chicago Cubs. Dick, a left-hander with a record of 12 wins and 14 losses. Dick, 24 years of age, 6'4", 190 pounds, from Left, Wyoming. He has won 3 and lost 1 against the Mets this year. In lifetime, he has won 7 and lost 5. And Bobby Klaus, the right-hand batter, now ready to go, and here's the first pitch. Ground ball in the hole, going over is Rogers. He can't handle it. The ball bouncing off of his glove. And Bobby Klaus in the first pitch reaches first base. Klaus batting .230, and we'll see how they'll score it. Rogers had moved in front of the ball and had the ball playable, but he never did find the handle, and they're going to give Bobby Klaus a base hit. So the Mets pick up the first base hit. And the batter will be Ron Hunt. Ron batting .312. 2 for 4 in the first ball game. 5 hits and 12 times up against the Cubs. And the first pitch to Ron is inside and low, ball 1. For the Cubs, they have Len Gableson playing first base, Jim Stewart at second base, the shortstop Andre Rogers, Ron Fano at third base. The catcher is Jim Schaefer. In the outfield, Bill Williams in left field. In center field, Billy Cowan. In right field, Doug Clemens. And Dick Ellsworth, a left-hander on the mound. He sets, looks at first base. And his pitch to Hunt is in there at the knees, a called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. One ball, 1 strike. No one out, bottom half of the first. Runner goes. The pitch is lined into center field. Coming over is Billy Cowan, and he makes a one-hand catch. Hustling back to first base as the throw is cut off by the second baseman is Bobby Klaus. So on a hit-and-run play, Ron tried to pull the ball through the hole on the shortstop side, which he had done previously in this ball game today in the first ball game, but he got the ball too high in the air. Now with 1 away, the batter will be Joe Christopher. Joe batting .314. 16 home runs. Make it 13 home runs and 61 runs batted in. And he takes the first pitch outside, ball 1. One ball, no strike. And the pitch. Low and inside, ball 2. Dick Ellsworth behind at 2 balls and no strikes. George Altman, the on-deck batter for the Mets. Ellsworth working very slowly in the mound. Now takes his set position. Bobby Klaus at first base. And the pitch is low and inside. A breaking pitch, ball 3. Ball dug out of the dirt by the catcher, Jim Schaefer. Ellsworth was scheduled to pitch the Houston game. Cubs go to Houston right after this ball game for a series there. Ernie Broglio was the scheduled pitcher for the second game. He came up with a sore elbow. Now a fastball in for strike 1. 3 balls and 1 strike. Bobby Klaus edging off at first base. He goes. The pitch is taken low and inside, ball 4. And the Mets now have base runners at first and second. Klaus moving down on the 3-1 pitch. And Joe Christopher getting first base on the walk. That brings up George Altman. George scoring the winning run in the first ball game in the 10th inning after a double to right field. George batting .222. 5 home runs and 31 runs batted in. A left-hand batter. Mets have two left-hand batters in the starting lineup, Ed Kranepool and George Altman. And the first pitch, a slider in the outside corner for a strike. And Jim Schaefer now running the ball back to the pitcher's mound to talk with Dick Ellsworth. Final score, Baltimore 7, Chicago 3. Baltimore increasing their lead over the Chicago White Sox. Their lead now is at 2.5 games. Winning pitcher was Wally Bunker, his 13th win against only 3 losses. Losing pitcher was Fisher. He came in the ball game in the 4th. Baltimore 7 runs, 12 hits. Chicago 3 runs, 6 hits, and no home runs in the ball game. Yankees defeated Boston 4-3, so they pick up a full game on the White Sox. Ground ball hit by George Altman down toward the first base side. Coming off the mound is Dick Ellsworth. He picks it up, looks around, and has to go to first base. Moving to third is Bobby Krause. On down to second, Joe Christopher. And now the Mets will have Jim Hickman coming up.
Batting in fifth position, number 9. Center fielder, Jim Hickman.
Jim had 1 hit and 4 times up in the first ball game. Batting at .246 now. Right-hand batter. Yankees now only 3 games behind the Chicago White Sox. They still trail Baltimore by 5.5 games. First pitch to Hickman is taken low and outside. It's ball 1. Jim with 9 home runs and 44 runs batted in. Ellsworth taking the sign. Now asking for another set. No score in the game. 2 men out, bottom half of the first. Mets with runners at second and third. And the pitch is hit slowly on the ground down to short. Andre Rogers comes in, digs it out, throws to first base for the out to retire the side. No runs, 1 hit. No errors, a walk, and 2 men left on base, and the score at the end of 1. Chicago nothing, the New York Mets nothing. Well, don't forget about our extra ball game tomorrow. The game will be on radio only, and it'll be the New York Mets against the New York Yankees. The second time these two teams have met in the New York area, and the proceeds for the game going to the Sandlot Baseball Fund here in New York. It's the Mayor's Trophy game. Game time will be at 8 o'clock. And general admission seats, and plenty of them, will be on sale at 5:45 right here at the ballpark tomorrow night. Rain checks from the originally scheduled game of June 15th will admit you to the ballpark, along with your tickets that you didn't use for that date of June 15th. So dig them out and come on out as the Mets take on the Yankees in the Mayor's Trophy game. Mets won the first game in Yankee Stadium, and all indications point to a real gala event right here tomorrow night. Wouldn't be a bit surprised to see a few harmonicas in the ballpark tomorrow night. Moving to the top of the second with the score tied, 0-0. The first man up for the Cubs will be Billy Cowan, the center fielder. It'll be Billy Cowan, Jim Schaefer, and Andre Rogers against Dennis Ryman. Cubs had 2 hits in the first inning, but they left runners at first and third when Len Gableson hit a hot smash down to Eddie Kranepool, and Eddie turned it into an out as Dennis Ryman covered at first base on a great play. Eddie would not have been able to make that play had he been holding the runner on at first. He had just moved in back of the runner for some defensive room. Now the first pitch to Cowan, a hard swing and a foul ball, strike 1. Billy asking for a towel, and it's being given to him by the on-deck batter, Jim Schaefer. Cowan batting .246. He has 16 home runs and 42 runs batted in. 1 strike delivery, a curveball swung on and missed, strike 2. Pitch was outside, and Cowan went for it. Mets and Cubs playing their 14th ball game of the year here in Shea Stadium, all even at 4 apiece, each team winning 4 ball games. This is the final game between the Cubs and Mets right here at Shea. 2 strike delivery, slider outside and low at ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And the next pitch, a fastball, swung on a miss, strike 3. First strikeout for Dennis Ryman. He picked up 10 his last time up. It tied the Mets high for their history. Jay Hook had done it twice before, and Jay was a teammate of Dennis's as they both pitched for the Denver Bears this year. That'll bring up Jim Schaefer. Schaefer, a right-hand batter, batting .241. And the first pitch is outside and low. It's ball 1. Cowan, with that strikeout, has now struck out 115 times in 116 ball games. National League strikeout record, 136. A routine fly ball into center field. Hickman moving in, and he makes the catch. Outfielders here in this ballpark have quite a bit of difficulty picking the ball up off of the bat. Ball is more or less obscured by the fence behind home plate, and it's very difficult to pick up until it gets high enough that it leaves the background, that is the facade for the ball coming on out. Now Andre Rogers in the batter's box. Andre batting for the first time, batting .245. Right-hand batter. 11 home runs and 40 runs batted in. And he grounds the first pitch down the third, taken by Bobby Krause. His throw to first base in time by 4 steps to retire the side. So an easy inning after the first inning for Dennis Ryman. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on base. And the score at the end of 1 1/2. The Cubs nothing, the Mets nothing.
You know, the real knowledgeable hitter will try to look over pitches until he gets the one that's right for him. You know, the same thing goes for filter cigarettes. Look them all over and you'll hit on Viceroy. Because Viceroy is scientifically made to taste the way you'd like a filter cigarette to taste. Not too strong like some filter brands that taste as if they didn't have a filter. And not too light. Like others, you know the kind. You keep smoking one after another trying to satisfy your taste. But Viceroy, now that is a different story. Viceroy's not too strong, not too light. Viceroy's got the deep weave filter for the taste that's right. So fans, if you haven't already tried Viceroy, the time to do it is the very next time you buy cigarettes. Pick up that pack of Viceroy and see if you don't agree. Viceroy's not too strong, not too light. Viceroy's got the taste that's right.
That's right, Bob. And now the bottom half of the second. First man up will be shortstop Charlie Smith. Charlie will be followed by Eddie Kranepool. And then the catcher, Chris Canizero. Dick Ellsworth taking his warm-up pitches on the mound. Every time you look at Dick, or at least every time I look at Dick, it reminds me very much of Paul Minner. Paul pitched for the Cubs, also for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Dick built along the same lines, and he has the same actions, and he works very slowly on the mound. Dick has given up 1 hit in his 1 inning of work. Also has walked the batter, struck out none. Working to his 6th man here as Charlie Smith steps in. Charlie with 16 home runs leads the club in that department. He has 46 runs batted in. A right-hand batter. And he grounds the first pitch foul, a sinking fastball. Ball picked up by Don Hefner, the third base coach. Coaching at first base, Wes Westrom. Wes was given a nice compliment in our pregame show with Larry Jackson when he said the reason why he works so slowly on the mound is that he likes to change signals a lot to confuse Wes Westrom, who he regards as one of the best sign stealers in the game. Pitch to the plate, swung on and fouled back of the screen this time. Strike 2. Charlie Smith batting .240. Now the windup in the 2-strike delivery. High fastball, in a little bit tight. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
1,031.
Now the official word. There were 1,031 banners displayed between games, which accounts for some of the reasons why the game was started 20 minutes late. All those banners had to be paraded by and judged by the judges. Now the next pitch low, it's ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ellsworth into the windup and back to Charlie Smith. Led up, swung on and missed. The curveball breaking in at the knees, a slow curve. And it's strike three. First strikeout for Dick Ellsworth, and that brings up Ed Kranepool, who won the first game with a single to left field with the bases loaded in the bottom half of the 10th. Ed's getting a nice hand. He now has a total of 29 runs batted in. And he swings at a high curve and fouls it down in the dirt. Ball rolling over to the first base side. It's strike one. Ed batting .266. No score in this ball game. One out, bottom half of the second. First game was a scoreless game for the first two innings. The Mets scored their first run in the third. Cubs started up in the seventh. Mets won it in the bottom half of the 10th. Next pitch back is outside, a fastball. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Now the 1-1 delivery. Curveball swung on, popped in the air, back of first base in foul territory. Then Gableson going back, and he tries to make the catch, and the ball drops on down. Then had some difficulty with some of the fans there, and one of the boys in the stands reaching out with his glove, and he sort of fell back on over the railing, and he was helped back into the stands by the first baseman, Gableson. One ball, 2 strike count now on the foul ball as Ed Kranepool battles Dick Ellsworth. After Kranepool, the on-deck batter shows Chris Canizero. Now the pitch, a curveball looked at, strike three. Pitch down around the knees in the outside corner, and Dick Ellsworth picks up his second strikeout. 2 in a row. Now Chris Canizero comes up. Chris batting .309. He was 0 for 4 in the first ball game. Has 3 hits and 12 times up in the Cubs series. Chicago no runs, 2 hits. The Mets no runs, 1. And a line drive to right, a base hit. Could go for 2. Coming over is the right fielder, Doug Clemens. Canizero's going for 2. A good throw, the slide, and the tag is not in time. Fine throw by Doug Clemens. Doug going over by the foul line had to come up with the ball one-handed, turn around. He made an accurate throw to second base. It was a perfect one-hop throw, and the tag was made just a little bit late by Andre Rogers. So the Mets have their second hit, and they have a base runner at second base with 2 men out, and the batter is Dennis Ryber. Dennis has had no hits and 5 times up in the National League, but he appears to be a good-looking hitter for a pitcher. And the first pitch to the right-hand batter is a curveball low. It's ball 1. Paid attendance here today, 27,008. Total attendance, 27,682. And the Mets now in 52 dates have drawn 1,398,689. Mets just about 200 short of the 1,400,000 mark. And the pitch back to the plate is a fastball in for a strike. Pitch right around the letters. 1 ball, 1 strike. When the Mets come home, they take on the Dodgers and the Giants. Giants first and the Dodgers, and that should see the attendance go up to about the 1,000,006 mark. 27,000. So another fine crowd on hand here today. 1-1 delivery hit hard down to second base. Moving over to take it on one hop, the second baseman, Jim Stewart. His throw to first base retired to side. In the inning, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left on base. And the score at the end of 2, the Cubs nothing, the Mets nothing. Well, speaking of the series, when the Mets come on home, they'll take on the San Francisco Giants after a road trip to Cincinnati and Chicago, playing the Giants Tuesday night, September 1st, Wednesday night, September 2nd, and Thursday afternoon, Ladies' Day, September 3rd. On Friday, the Dodgers will show up, and they'll play against the Mets in a twilight doubleheader on September 4th. Game time at 6 o'clock. Saturday will show a night game. Game time at 8 o'clock. And Sunday a single-day game, all with the Dodgers. So, 7 big games coming up when the Mets return home after the road trip to Cincinnati and Chicago, returning home on September 1st, Tuesday night. Now, as the lights come on here at Shea Stadium, we'll take time out to enlighten our audience as to station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network. Ralph Gander along with Bob Murphy and Lindsey Nelson from Shea Stadium.
Batting in ninth position.
We're in the top of the third inning with no score. Scoreless duel battled out right now by Dick Ellsworth of the Cubs, and he'll be the first batter against Dennis Rodman of the New York Mets. Ellsworth, a left-hand batter, batting at 0.56. He has 4 hits and 71 times up. After Ellsworth, the top of the batting order, Jim Stewart, and then Doug Clemens. Dennis, the right-hander, looking for the sign from Chris Canizero. And the first pitch of the third. Fastball high and outside. It's ball 1. Cubs had 2 hits in the first inning. One a misjudged fly ball in right field. The other was a doubtful hit to deep short of a very close play at first. Pitch back to the plate is ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. In the second inning, Dennis Rodman got the side out in order. Now he comes in with a fastball that's in the strike zone. 2 balls and 1 strike. Two balls, 1 strike. Ellsworth fouls the next pitch away. Strike 2. Well, some of the banners, some of the plus 1,000 banners here in the ballpark, displayed now back in the stand. 2-2 pitch, looked at. Strike 3 call. The slider on the inside corner. And Dennis Rodman picks up his second strikeout. That'll bring up Jim Stewart for the second time. Jim, a switch hitter, batting left-handed against the right-hand pitcher, batting .244. Stewart hit the first pitch of the ball game, the left field. Ball caught by George Altman. And this time he gets a curveball in the first pitch, and this time he takes. It's strike 1. Dennis Rodman wearing number 17, the number of the ball player that he was traded for, Frank Larry. 1 strike delivery, fastball bounced down to first, taken by Kranepool. He throws to Rodman covering at first base for the out. Ball was well hit, and Kranepool had to go to his right to make the play. He had the option of taking the bag by himself, and he took the sure way by going to the pitcher who was there ahead of him. 2 away now in the top of the third, no score in the ball game. And Doug Clemens comes up. Doug had the first base hit of the game, a double to right field. Chicago with 2 hits, the Mets also with 2 base hits, no score. Clemens batting .251, a left-hand batter. And he fouls the first pitch to left field, down the left field side into the box seats at strike 1. Mets now have won 41 games. Their first year in existence, they won a total of 40. Second year, they won 51. And a let-up hit down to first, again taken by Ed Kranepool. This time he takes the play all the way, and that retires the side. 1-2-3 inning. And the score at the end of 2.5 innings. Chicago nothing, the New York Mets nothing. Now here's music to stamp out thirst by. of the third. The Mets coming up with Bobby Klaus as their first man up. So far, Dick Ellsworth and Dennis Ryman have dueled evenly in the ball game. Ellsworth has 1/2 inning yet to go to actually match Ryman's performance, as Dennis has given up no runs in his 3 innings against the Cubs and allowed 2 hits. Ellsworth has pitched only 2 innings against the Mets and has given up no runs and allowed 2 hits. Bobby Klaus, who singled his first time up, batting for the second time, batting .234. Bobby singled off the glove of Andre Rogers in the first inning for the Mets' first base hit. And the first pitch to the right-hand batter is a fastball on the outside corner, down around the knees, strike 1. Ellsworth very, very methodical on the mound, taking plenty of time. Now at 1 strike, he comes back with a let-up that's too low. 1 ball, 1 strike. It'll be Bobby Klaus, Ron Hunt, and Joe Christopher against the left-hand pitcher here in the bottom half of the third. 1-1 delivery. Taken in there, a fastball up around the letters on the outside corner, strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Again, a let-up, and this time the pitch is high and outside, ball 2. Count even at 2-2 with no one out in the bottom half of the third. Now the windup and the next pitch. Hit into center field. Ball high in the air. Billy Cowan drifting back and to his left. And he makes the catch. 1 away in the bottom half of the third, and the batter will be Ron Hunt. Ron, on a hit-and-run play, flied out to center field his first time up. Ron with his average at .311, 5 hits and 13 times up against the Cubs in the series. Ron has driven in the number on his back, 33 runs. And he takes a curve that breaks off of the plate for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Cubs, no runs, 2 hits. The Mets, no runs, 2 hits. 1 man out, bottom half of the third. And the pitch back is low and inside. 2 balls and no strikes. Ellsworth is a surveyor on the mound. He goes in and out, up and down, takes a little off, adds a little bit on. Not too fast, but has marvelous control when he's right. 2-0 delivery. Fouled away, and the count now at 2 balls and 1 strike. Ellsworth last year had a great season. He won 22 and lost 10. 1962, he was 9-20, so he reversed a 20-game losing year into a 22-game winning year. Next pitch is hit in the air in the left field. Billy Williams moving to his left, and he makes the catch. 2 men away, and that brings up Joe Christopher. Ellsworth, in switching the season from a 20-game loss season to a 20-game win season, became the first pitcher to do this in the National League since Paul Derringer did it back in 1934 and 1935. Derringer lost 20 and then came back to win 20 plus in 1935. Other pitchers who have done it, all Hall of Famers. Ed Walsh, Cy Young, Walter Johnson, Ted Lang. So it's a mark of being able to pitch a lot of ball games. First pitch to Joe Christopher, a called strike. Joe walked his first time up on 5 pitches. Batting at .314. Pitch back to the plate. A little bit low. It's ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Joe had an RBI in the first ball game, his 61st. He leads the club in that department. Four hits and 11 times up against the Cubs in the series. Now the 1-1 delivery. Taking a fastball right at the knees on the outside part of the plate. Strike two. 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 men out, bottom half of the third. No score in the ball game. 1-2 delivery. Curveball hit down the third. A 2-hopper taken by Ron Sano. His throw to first base in time for the out that retires the side. So for the first time in the ball game, Dick Ellsworth works the side 1-2-3, and the score at the end of 3 full innings: Chicago nothing, the New York Mets nothing. Well, if you haven't been out to Shea Stadium yet, hope you make it real soon because it's a real pleasure. Good idea would be to catch the World's Fair first and amble right over to Shea on the same day. You could actually go to the fair, check out, and go back to the fair if you want. They'll stamp your hand, and you can go back on in. And also, one thing to remember, you get off at the same subway stop at the same time that you come out here. Another good idea would be to relax with a tall, cool Rheingold Extra Dry and then enjoy the ball game. Say, while you're at the fair, there's no better place to meet your friends than Rheingold's little old New York. It's an authentic corner of New York City, just as it was back in 1904. You'll find a cool village green, great for relaxing, and you can enjoy a snack or meal and a refreshing Rheingold Extra Dry at the Rheingold Tavern, or the smart Victorian-style restaurant, or sidewalk cafe. And then off to Shea for the ball game. And wherever you are along the Rheingold beat, at the fair, at Shea Stadium, at home, whenever things get thirsty, Rheingold is as good to your taste as it is to your thirst. Rheingold after Rheingold. Well, we moved through the first 3 with no score, and now to take you along the way on the play-by-play, once again, Bob Murphy.
All right, Ralph, thank you very much. In the 4th inning, Dennis Rybant will be up against the middle of the Chicago Cub batting order: Billy Williams, Ron Sano, and Len Gabrielson. Dennis, a very nervous, aggressive type pitcher. Outstanding young competitor. Out of his windup, here's the pitcher swinging a miss and a fastball. He challenged him. He threw the fastball right up in Billy's eyes, and he really went after it. Large banner hanging from the upper deck says, "From the Polo Grounds to William Shea, we're with the Mets all the way." Little under the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike. Absolutely amazing number of banners appearing today in the contest, the parade between games, over 1,000. 1,031 by count. 1-1 delivery. An off-speed pitch taken low, 2 balls and a strike. Chris Canizaro behind the plate in both games of the doubleheader. He gave way in the closing innings of the opening game when Jesse Gander went behind the plate. Now Rybant into his windup, 2-1 delivery. Too high, it's ball 3, and the count goes to 3-1 on Billy Williams. Billy hitting at .330, 0 for 1 in this game, was thrown out by Bobby Klaus, his only time at bat. 3-1 pitch. High fly ball hit to right center. It's deep, but Hickman has room. Back on the edge of the track. He's there. Makes the catch. 1 away and nobody on now. Before Ron Santos steps in, we step out for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
810 on your dial, WGY and WGFM Schenectady, the voice of the Mets in the Northeast.
And along the line, we apologize for misreading the clock. Pitch right in for a call strike. I looked out at the big clock on the scoreboard and thought it was 9:30.
I bet you had guys jumping all over the place all through that network. I'll tell you that, Bob. They probably came flying out of their seats like lightning has struck.
To all of those who did a back somersault out of the chair, our apologies. High fly ball hit to right field. Christopher coming toward the right field line is under it, and he makes the catch. You know how you do things without thinking at times. I looked at that clock, Ralph, and I would have sworn it was 9:30.
And it could be, too.
It may be before we get through. Now 2 outs and nobody on, and the hitter is Len Gabrielson. Well, that's why they put erasers on pencils. Gabrielson, tall, rangy, left-hand hitter. He's strong, and the Mets play him deep and around toward right. Gabrielson grounded out his only time up. Dennis Rybank into the windup. The pitch, fastball, letter high, strike called on the inside corner. Well, we're one ahead, Ralph. I guess we don't have to make the next one. Now the pitch thrown, a smash foul going down the right field line, no play. Mayor's Trophy game tomorrow night. We'll be on the air with the broadcast of the Mets-Yankee game at 7:55. No television coverage tomorrow night. Following tomorrow night's game, the Mets fly to Cincinnati and play Hudson the Reds on Tuesday and Wednesday night. Two-strike delivery, curve inside and low. Now the count 1-2 on Len Gabrielson. Dennis Rybank winding. Down comes his pitch. Inside and a high. It's even at 2-2. Minnesota Twins with Don Mincher hitting a grand slam in the 8th inning to tie the game, then got one in the 9th inning and beat Detroit today 6-5. Bill Price, the winner, in relief, and Fred Gladding, the loser, in relief. Tigers had a 5-1 lead in that ball game, but Don Mincher hit a grand slam in the 8th, and the Twins won it in the 9th inning. Ground ball hammered toward Ron Hunt. He plays the hop, straightens up, throws to Cranepool. The side is out. Another 1-2-3 inning for Dennis Rybank. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left on. And the score at the end of 3.5 innings. The Chicago Cubs nothing, the New York Mets nothing.
Viceroy taste the way you'd like a filter cigarette to taste. Not too strong
and not too light.
Viceroy's got the taste that's right. Too strong or light, Viceroy's got the taste that's right. Viceroy taste the way you like a filter cigarette to taste. Not too strong
and not too light.
Viceroy's got the taste that's right.
Now the home 4th inning, and George Altman will be up against left-hander Dick Ellsworth. George Altman and Eddie Cranepool are the left-hand hitters in the batting order against southpaw Dick Ellsworth. Mets won the opening game 2-1 in 10 innings on a clutch hit by Ed Cranepool. He was hitting against a left-hander in Lee Gregory. Nobody on, nobody out. Last half of the 4th inning, each team has 2 hits. A well-pitched doubleheader. Now the pitch to George. Right in for a call, strike 1. Jim Hickman on deck. Then Charlie Smith. They're playing George deep and around toward right. A breaking ball, low outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. The air has been heavy today. We've had a very high humidity. In the opening ball game, Altman came up hitting for Galen Cisco, who had hurled 8 superb innings. Made a bid to give Galen a victory with a high, long drive to right field, but the ball simply is not carrying today the way it normally does, and the ball was caught on the warning track. He bunts one out in front of the plate, racing after it. The plate of first base, safe. He beats it out, a base hit. Now, George really runs well for a man whose power is 6'4" above the ground. Earlier this year, he had helped Galen Cisco win a ball game by stretching a single into a double. And in the ball game today, in the 10th inning, he stretched a single into a double and later came in with a winning run when he was singled home by Eddie Cranepool. Now Altman has bunted for a base hit, leading off the last of the fourth inning. Jim Hickman is up. Curve on the inside corner, strike one call. Jim 0 for 1 in this game has grounded out short to first. Now Ellsworth off the stretch. There goes the runner. Hit and run. Line drive. Looped into left. A base hit. Altman's going to third. Here's the throw by Billy Williams. The side. Save. Throw at first base. Out at first base. Ron Santo whipped the ball across the diamond to Lynn Gabrielson. And Jim Hickman is out trying to get back. Mets playing hit and run. They made a gel on a base hit to left by Hickman. Altman racing from first to third and beating a throw from Billy Williams on a close play. And Ron Santo, a tremendous all-around performer, immediately fired an accurate, strong throw across the diamond to Gabrielson. They get Jim Hickman. Now the Mets have Altman on third, one out, and the Cubs bring the infield in. Boy, that was fast reacting on the part of Cub third baseman Ron Santo. Altman went from first to third on the hit-and-run single to left field, and he really had to open both jets to make it. Here's the pitch on the way. Hit on the ground up the middle by Charlie Smith, a base hit. Altman is in to score, and the Mets lead 1-0. With the infield drawn in, Charlie Smith hit a well-placed, not sharply hit grounder right up the middle for a single. Driving home George Altman, and the Mets take the lead 1-0. For Charlie, his 47th run batted in. Now Eddie Cranepool comes up. First run of the game, Mets lead 1-0. Now the pitch to Cranepool, off the outside corner, 1 ball and no strikes. 3 hits in a row, but a quick play by Ron Santo took Jim Hickman off the baselines. Now Vic Ellsworth with the runner on first, delivers to the plate, and picks off the outside corner to a left-hand hitter. 1 ball, 1 strike. Eddie knocked in the winning run, George Altman, in the 10th inning of the first game today. Cubs had intentionally walked Hunt and Christopher to pitch to the left-hander with the left-hander on the mound. Now the 1-1 delivery. Line drive caught by Santo. He's got a double play in the making. Throws to first. The side is out. Oh, what a play by Ron Santo. Boy, this fella can play third base. He is a real superstar. That was a wicked low line drive, and Santo made a head-first dive to his left. A glove hand grab, caught the ball in the air just before it hit the ground, then got up and rifled across the diamond for a double play. And Ron Santo really saved the bacon for Chicago. The Mets certainly had a big inning in the making had it not been for the one-man work of Ron Santo, the Cub third baseman. No telling how many runs Santo saved there. 1 run, 3 hits. No errors, none left on. At the end of 4, the score of the Mets 1 and the Cubs nothing. Following their brief road trip to Cincinnati and Chicago, they play the Cubs next weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Mets return to Shea Stadium for a tremendous week of baseball. The week prior to the youngsters returning to school. On Tuesday night, September 2nd, the Giants are in. Starting a week of baseball that features the Giants and the Dodgers and winds up on Labor Day with a doubleheader on the traditional day for baseball between the New York Mets and the Houston Colt 45s. While the Mets are on the road, tickets will be on sale at the advanced sale window here at Shea Stadium. For your convenience in Midtown Manhattan, both East Side and West Side, Grand Central Station, and the Long Island Railroad waiting room of Penn Station. On Long Island, in Huntington, the gateway to Suffolk County and the Walt Whitman Shopping Center at Macy's. Now Billy Cowan is up against Dennis Ryben. A swing and a miss on that hard slider, strike 1. Ryben into his windup. Now the pitch thrown. Low and outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Dennis doesn't waste a moment on that mound. He is ready to go when Canizaro returns it. The lights are on. The second game is in inning number 5. The Mets bidding for a sweep, and they lead here 1-0. Curve is looped foul off the end of the bat over into the crowd beyond the Mets dugout. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, to me, this has been the most exciting 7 days of baseball with the New York Mets in their 3 years. They have certainly received, by far and away, their best week of pitching. Mets are the only team in either major league this year to receive 5 straight complete pitch ball games. All victories. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Billy Cowan is fanned by Ryback. And right here we pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network. Bob Murphy with Lindsey Nelson and Ralph Kiner. It's the 5th inning here at Shea Stadium. Cub batter now is the catcher, Jim Schaefer. He flied to center his first time up. Schaefer, right-hand hitter. Foul ball back into the screen, strike 1. Well, as old Iz would say, the humidity has been high today. I imagine the pitchers taking their turns on the mound have dropped 8 or 9 pounds in a hurry. 1 strike pitch. Foul ball back over our broadcasting booth. No play. One out and nobody on in the 5th inning, and Ryban now with a 2-strike count on Jim Schaefer. Andy Rogers, the number 8 hitter for Chicago, is in the on-deck circle. Hickman sets defensively at an angle around toward left center. Low and outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. The air has seemed as such at times today that it could be slashed with a cake knife. Now Schaefer cocks the bat off the right shoulder. Looks at a curve that's outside, and the count even. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mets playing straight away against Jim Schaefer with the outfield a couple of strides to left. Ball 3, the hard slider, low and away, and the count now is full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Dennis has remarkable control for a young pitcher. Now the pitch on the way. Foul ball, it will not be playable. Back comes Canizaro, mask in hand, but he has to turn and go back toward the plate. It's in the crowd. Dennis Rybat, in shutting out the Pittsburgh Pirates last Monday afternoon with a 4-hitter, did not walk a batter and struck out 10. Got his 10th strikeout for the final out of the ball game to put his name into the Mets record book, tying the previous high. Now the payoff pitch to Schaefer. He reaches for it and pops it up, and this one, I believe, is playable. Back comes Canizaro. Near the dugout, he's got it. 2 men away. Schaefer goes out on a pop foul back toward the Cub dugout. Now Andy Rogers coming up. He was thrown out by Bobby Klaus in the 2nd inning. Bobby had a busy day in the field in the opening ball game. First time through the batting order, he threw out 4 of the 9 Cubs. Crowd today of better than 27,000, and there were over 1,000 banners on parade. Now Ryban goes over the head, around comes the arm. Fastball in off the point of the shoulder. 1 ball and no strikes on Andy Rogers. Ryban will be working hard trying to get Andy Rogers. He'd like to have the pitcher leading off in the next inning. Next pitch by Dennis. Foul ball. Comes right up into the press level, into the booth to our right. When Dennis Rybandt shut out the Pirates last Monday afternoon, at the start of the game, he retired the first 11 hitters. 1-1 pitch. High fly ball to right field. It's playable. Moving off a little bit to his right is Christopher. He draws a beat on it and puts it away. The side is out. So for the fourth straight inning, the side goes out 1-2-3. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left on. We've come halfway in the nightcap, and the score at the end of 4.5. The New York Mets 1, the Chicago Cubs nothing. Now let's listen to the sound of the Rheingold beat.
Rheingold is as good to your taste as it is to your thirst. One more time. Rheingold is as good to your taste as it is to your thirst. Rheingold after Rheingold, Rheingold after Rheingold.
Now the last of the fifth inning. Chris Canizero coming out to lead off for New York. Only the superb play around third base by Ron Santo kept the Mets from going for a big inning in the fourth inning. He made an alert and an aggressive play in getting Jim Hickman after Jim had singled on a hit-and-run play, sending Altman to third. And then made a stunning play on a diving grab of a hard-hit line drive by Ed Kranepool. Got to his feet, fired to first for a double play. Every man up. Had what appeared to be a base hit except for Mr. Ron Santo. Chris Canizero doubled to right field his last time up. Now here's the wind-up pitch by Ellsworth. He tries to bunny his way on, but fouls it back into the screen. Strike one. Chris has hit safely in 13 of the last 16 ball games he's caught. Well, in that airtight pitching duel in the opening ball game, one of the big plays in the game was a pitch out by Canizero, in which he nailed the runner, and it was a big play in the ball game. Down comes the pitch to Chris, an off-speed pitch taken outside. In the eighth inning, he nailed Billy Williams when he sensed the fact that the play would be on and called for a pitch out. A little bit high on the count, 2 balls and a strike. Not once, but on about 4 separate occasions during this hot streak for the New York Mets, Canizero has called for a pitch out at just the right time and then nailed the runner. Two-one delivery. Line drive hammered into left field, a base hit. Taken on a hop by Billy Williams, and Canizero continues his lusty hitting. Actually, for New York, that's 4 straight hitters that have really hit the ball hard against Ellsworth. Altman got things going when he bunted his way on in the fourth inning. Then the next 3 men up, Hickman, Smith, and Kranepool all hit the ball hard. And now Canizero, leading off the fifth inning, has hit the ball hard. Dennis Rybandt is the batter, and the Cubs now defense against the bunt. Santo in close at third. Bunted off the plate, a Baltimore chop in foul territory. Taken in the foul area by Jim Schaefer. No play, and a 1-strike count on Dennis Rybandt. Mets hoping to sweep a doubleheader if they can. They will have won 7 of their last 8 ball games, the only loss being 3-2 yesterday afternoon. Today, the Phillies beat the Pirates 9-3, and the second-place Cincinnati Reds have been beaten by the Dodgers 1-0 on Phil Ortega's 3-hitter. Jim O'Toole losing. He's now 13-6. Outside and high. Gonna square it around to bunt, then drew the bat back as though he wanted to take that short swing. Cincinnati started the day 6.5 games out. That drops them now 7.5 games back behind the Phillies. Giants lead St. Louis 2-1. They're in the top of the 8th inning in San Francisco. Ron Herbel has relieved Gaylord Perry. He bunts it foul into the dirt right by home plate. The count 1 ball and 2 strikes. St. Louis got a run during the pitching change in the 8th inning. On a home run by Lou Brock. That ties the game. The Cardinals and Giants now are 2-2 going to the last half of the 8th in San Francisco. Home run was off Ron Herbel, who relieved Gaylord Perry as far back as the 4th inning. Now let's see if Rybat tries to bunt the 3rd strike. Outside, he didn't square around. 2-2. If the Cardinals beat the Giants, the Phillies will be riding high. They'll have a 7.5 game lead over Cincinnati, an 8.5 game lead over the Giants. Two-two delivery. Ground ball hit toward the hole, and it's going through for a base hit. Canizaro will stop at second as Billy Williams plays it back in. That ball wasn't hit hard, but it was beautifully placed. Sano was playing even with the bag and wide of the line, and the ball was hit just beyond his reach. For Dennis Rybat, his first Major League base hit. Now the Mets have runners at first and second. Nobody out. Top of the batting order, and Bobby Klaus. Billy, the older brother who was around the American League for a half a dozen campaigns, now retired from baseball and living in Sarasota, Florida, the winter home of the Chicago White Sox. Sarasota, for a quarter of a century, was the winter home of the Red Sox. Once again, the Cubs have to look for the bunt. They shorten up at first and third. And the pitch. Bunted and popped in the air and foul ground. Over goes Sano, and he takes it for the out. Bobby was trying to steer that one. He knew what he was doing, but he failed to pull it off. He was trying to actually use about a half swing and get it beyond Ron Sano. One away, 2 men on. That brings up Ron Hunt. Ron has flied to center, flied to left. Nothing for 2, batting at .310. Say, have you had your Rheingold today? Enjoy one right now. Rheingold Extra Dry, the crisp, smooth, completely quenching beer. Mets 1 and the Cubs nothing. We're in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Now the pitch to Hunt. Ground ball hammered toward the hole, backhanded by Rogers. Thrown to second, 1 on to first. Not in time. Runners at the corners, 2 men down. Brown has hit the ball well in this doubleheader, but has had some good plays made against him. Now Joe Christopher coming up. Joe has drawn a walk, grounded out third to first. He drove in one of the 2 runs in the thrilling opening game victory. He drove in the first run for New York with a sacrifice fly. For Christopher, it was his 61st run batted in. Here's the pitch on the way. High fly ball hit to right field, not too deep. The right fielder, Doug Clemens, is there and puts it away for the out. Mets threaten but do not score in their half of the 5th inning. No runs, 2 hits. No errors, 2 left on. Now 5 complete. New York, 1 run, 7 hits, and no errors. Chicago, no runs, 2 hits, and no errors. Tomorrow night, the Mayor's Trophy game, the Mets and the Yankees at 8 p.m. Many of the Mets fans who are here tomorrow night will be picking up their 3rd revised edition of the Mets Yearbook at the concession stands. Yearbook also, for your convenience, may be purchased by mail by sending 50 cents to Mets Yearbook, Shea Stadium, Flushing, New York. Be sure to enclose your name and address. Now Dick Ellsworth will lead off in the top of the 6th inning, batting for the 2nd time. He was called out in the 3rd inning. Low scoring, but a fast-moving and an exciting ball game here in the duel between Dennis Ryban and Dick Ellsworth. Now Ryban out of his windup pitches. Fastball, a strike on the inside corner. Well, it was Galen Cisco who started off the string of pitching successes last Sunday against the Philadelphia Phillies when he cooled off the league leaders. Inside the high, 1 ball and 1 strike. The Mets used 6 different starting pitchers, starting with Galen Cisco's win over Philadelphia last Sunday. They lost only 1 after winning 5 straight complete games by the pitching staff. They lost 3-2 yesterday. Lined in the air to center field, Jim Hickman galloping in. He's under it. Makes the catch, 1 man down. Ellsworth retired. So this is the 8th consecutive ball game in which Casey has received outstanding pitching. Galen Cisco, in 8 innings of the opener today, allowed only 4 base hits. Galen left the game in favor of a hitter with a score tied 1-1. One away and nobody on. Now the leadoff batter, Jim Stewart, the left-handed batting second baseman. It was Stewart who tied up the first ball game with a sacrifice fly. He was appearing as a pinch hitter. Fastball taken high. 1 ball, no strikes. Foul ball back over the screen into the crowd. No play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jimmy Stewart has flied to left. Grounded out. Eddie Crane Buhl to Ryban covering at first. When Dennis shut out the Pirates, he retired the first 11 hitters. And then in the last part of the ball game, retired the last 12. Towering pop-up to short left field. George Altman comes in. Now he's standing under it waiting. He has it, 2 men down. 2 up and 2 set aside by Dennis Ryban. That brings up Doug Clemens. Well, it appears the way Ryban has the faculty for putting together a long string of consecutive batters retired someday before he hangs them up. He may make quite a run at a perfect game. He had strings of 11 and 12 in the Pirate game last Monday. Two outs and nobody on. Doug Clemens, the hitter. He has one of the 2 hits given up by Ryban, a double to right. Foul tip, no play, strike 1. That one struck the iron mask of Chris Cannizzaro. Two outs and nobody on in the 6th inning. Now they want a new ball to work with, and the ball returned by Shag Crawford is a bad throw. No damage done. It gives Dennis Ryban on a hot day a chance to catch his breath. Now Dennis over the head. Down comes the arm. Inside the high. He made him move his head in a hurry on that one. 1 ball, 1 strike. After a 5-day road trip, the Mets come home for 3, 4, and 3. High fly hit toward the left field line. George Altman just easing over that way is there and makes the catch. Another 1-2-3 inning for Dennis Ryban. He has now retired 16 consecutive hitters. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left on. At the end of 5.5 innings, the score, the Mets 1 and the Cubs nothing. Bottom half of the 6th inning, George Altman leads off against left-hander Dick Ellsworth. And George has scored the only run of the ball game. He got it going with a bunt single in the 4th inning. On a hit-and-run play, Jim Hickman moved him around to third, and he came in to score on a base hit by Charlie Smith. Dick Ellsworth, 6'4" left-hander, swings out of the windup. Now the pitch. Foul ball back over the press level and out of play. Strike 1. You always get as many oohs and ahs applause when a spectator, one of the grandstand outfielder, boots one, as you do when it takes place on the field. Now the one-strike delivery. High fly ball hit deep to right field. Back to the track is Doug Clemens. It's going. He jumps, and he makes the catch, I believe. Oh, we can't tell. No, he couldn't get it. A home run. Home run for George Altman. George Altman hitting a towering fly ball, his 6th home run of the year. That fly ball on the downward flight dropped just in behind the right field wall at the 358-foot mark. Clemens, the right fielder, put his back to the wall, leaped as high as he could, and the way he played it coming down from the jump, it appeared he had caught it. So we're in error and apologize. The ball dropping in behind the right field wall for a home run. The thing that made it so difficult is that the ball was coming down, dropping right straight down, and just had the distance to clear the wall. So close that Clemens leaped as high as he could with his back to the wall, thinking he was going to catch it. Now the Mets lead 2-0, a one-strike count on Jim Hickman. Lined hard to left field, a base hit by Jim, his 2nd in a row. Ball played back in by Billy Williams, and the Mets now have Hickman on first base, and coming up, Charlie Smith. Well, George Altman has hit 6 home runs this year. He was held up a great deal the first half of the year due to various ailments. Interestingly enough, 3 of the 6 hit by George have been off left-handers. Biggest all year was the one he hit off Billy Pierce at Candlestick Park, a 3-run homer, to give the Mets a come-from-behind 4-2 victory. One ball and no strikes to Charlie Smith. Charlie drove in the first run of the ball game with a single to center with the infield drawn in. It scored George Altman. Next pitch by Ellsworth. Low and inside, ball 2. Well, the last 3 innings, the Mets have hit Dick Ellsworth hard. Great fielding by Ron Santo broke off a big inning for New York in the 4th inning. Altman made a strong bid to win the first game with a home run. Low and inside, it's ball 3. Ellsworth behind now on Charlie Smith, 3-0. Now Don Elston is warming up for Chicago. Casey had sent Altman up to bat for Cisco with the game tied 1-1. He hit a fly ball that put Clemens back on the track in that opening ball game. Now the 3-0 delivery. Low inside, ball 4, and the Mets have 2 men on. That's the second walk given up by Dick Ellsworth, and it brings up Eddie Crane Buhl. In the 4th inning, Eddie hit a line drive into a double play, but he really tagged it. It was the play of the day by third baseman Ron Santo that turned the line drive that appeared to be going for a base hit into a double play. Now Ellsworth with runners on first and second, nobody out, looking in. The infield anticipating a bunt. Breaking ball outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Mets 2 and the Cubs nothing. Last of the 6th inning. New York winning the opener 2-1 in 10 innings. Now the pitch on the way, and it's off the outside corner. The count on Eddie Crane Buhl. Chris Canizaro is the on-deck batter. Now the 2-0 delivery. Low and outside. It's ball. No, check that. A strike on the outside corner of the knees. Beg your pardon. Two and one the count on Eddie Buhl. Eddie single to left, driving home George Altman with a winning run in the 10th inning of the first game today. Now Ellsworth up in pitching position. Delivers 2-1. Foul ball wafted over the visiting dugout and back into the field box area. Well, the next time the Mets wind up a homestand here at Shea Stadium, they'll be winding it up against the Milwaukee Braves. They play the Giants, the Dodgers, Houston on Labor Day, and then the Braves. And when that doubleheader is over, Johnny McCarthy and the ground crew will have exactly 48 hours to make all the changes necessary to get Shea Stadium ready for a football game. Count 2-2 on Ed Buhl. Here's the pitch to him. Ground ball whacked on the right side. Taken by Amalfitano. Played to second for one. Back to first and not in time. Jimmy Stewart rifling the ball over to Andy Rogers in time for a force play on Charlie Smith. But Buhl reaches safely on the fielder's choice, and now the Mets have runners at the corners. Runners on first and third. One man away. One run is in on George Altman's home run. Chris Canizaro has a single and double in 2 times at bat. Chris hitting at .320. In comes the pitch. Foul ball out of play. Over to the right side into the crowd. It's thrown to Canizaro, and off-speed delivery, a little bit high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Mets hoping to win this one and wind up their best homestand of the year. They lost the first 3 games of the homestand to Philadelphia. But then last Sunday, Galen Cisco got the Mets going when he went all the way to cool off the Phils. Mets went on to win 5 in a row, lose yesterday 3-2, but come back to win the first game here today 2-1. Now the 1-1 delivery. Hit high in the air down the right field line. It's going foul. No play for Doug Clemens. So Ellsworth in front on the count now with a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. At Comiskey Park, the Orioles are going for a sweep of the 4-game series. In the nightcap of the doubleheader, they lead 1-0 after 3. Steve Barber against Gary Peters. He holds up in time. It breaks inside and low. 2-2 on Chris Canizaro. Well, the Orioles had every right to be a downhearted ball club as they went into Chicago. They had just lost Bug Powell, their star outfielder and home run hitter, for a 30-day period. But to their credit, they have rallied their forces. They have won the first 3 games from Chicago, and they're trying to sweep the doubleheader. Now the 2-2 delivery. Just got a piece of it on a change-up breaking ball. Count remains at 2-2. First game here today, an overtime ball game. The Mets beating the Cubs in the 10th inning. Runners at first and third. 2-2 delivery. Foul pop-up. Looking for a play is Jim Schaefer, but it's out of his reach. So the count remains at 2-2 on Chris Canizaro. Dennis Ridebat occupying the on-deck circle. Dennis will be up next. Cubs have the infield hoping for a shot at 2, but the second baseman, Jimmy Stewart, is playing toward the hole on the right side of the diamond, playing Canizero as a right field hitter. The 2-2 delivery. Just got a piece of it on a foul ball. A quick pause for a station break. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
You're tuned to WGY, WGFM in Schenectady.
Bob Murphy with Lindsey Nelson and Ralph Kiner. Canizero, the hitter, with a count of 2-2. Runners on first and third, one man out. Mets leading 2-0. We're in the last of the sixth inning. Now the pitch. Hit in the air to right field, not too deep. Tagging up at third now is Jim Hickman. The catch is made. Here comes Hickman. The throw is going to second base, and the run is in. Clemens deciding not to try for him. Instead, elected to keep Crane Buhl out of scoring position, and the Mets lead 3-0. And a run batted in for Chris Canizero on the sacrifice fly. Good hand now for Dennis Ryback. Dennis got his first major league base hit in the fifth inning when he hit one through the hole to left field. Ground ball hit down to third. Good play by Sano on a bad hop. He throws to second. Force play on the side is out. What a game at third base Ron Sano was playing. That ball was a bouncer, but suddenly it became a roller, and Sano had to react quickly. 2 runs in on 2 hits, including a home run by George Altman. No errors, 1 left on. Now at the end of 6, New York, 3 runs, 9 hits, and no errors. Chicago, no runs, 2 hits, and no errors. And now for Viceroy Cigarettes, and to describe the remaining action for you in the nightcap of this doubleheader, here's Lindsey Nelson.
All right, Bob, you know, we really get a boot out of bringing to fans games of the New York Mets, and I like talking about Viceroy, too. There's nothing easier than telling folks about something you yourself enjoy, and I'm telling you I enjoy Viceroy. Viceroy's really got the taste that's right. You know why? Because Viceroy is scientifically made to taste the way you'd like a filter cigarette to taste. Not too strong like some brands that taste as if they didn't have a filter at all, and not too light like others that keep you smoking one after another, trying to satisfy your taste. Viceroy is not too strong, not too light. Viceroy's got the deep weave filter for the taste that's right. Next time, pick up a pack, or better still, get a carton of Viceroy. Take it from me, you'll like 'em. Viceroy's got the taste that's right. We're going now to the top half of the 7th inning, and it'll be Billy Williams up to lead off for the Chicago Cubs. Dennis Ryback started for the New York Mets, and he's been in there all the way. Williams has grounded out, third to first, and he is flat out to center field. He is hit safely in 10 straight games. Ryback into the motion, and the pitch to the left-hand batter. Swung on and hit deep to right field, way back. Going, and this one is gone for a home run for Billy Williams. He is hit safely in 11 straight games. It is his 27th home run of this season. He has now homered in every park in the National League. That is the first Chicago run of this game. It's the Mets 3 and the Cubs 1. Dennis Ryback had retired 16 consecutive batters through the 6th inning until that leadoff home run by Billy Williams here in the top of the 7th. Now Ron Santo is up. There's a swing and a miss on a breaking ball for strike 1. Ron Santo is 1 for 2 in this game. He legged out a base hit to short in the 1st inning. Mets 3, Cubs 1. That pitch is low, dug out of the dirt by Chris Canizero. And again, Ryback deals. Pitch is swung on and lined into left field for a base hit. So Sando's on at first, nobody out, and Len Gabrielson's coming up now for the Cubs. He has been up twice, grounded out both times. And we're going to get a little action now in the Met bullpen. Larry Bernard gets up to throw. Gabrielson is a left-hand batter. Buhl's playing behind the runner at first. As Gabrielson now calls time, he wants the rosin bag, and he gets it. And Ryban wants another ball, and he gets it. Out in the Met bullpen, Bill Hunter gets up to throw along with Larry Bernard. Hunter finished up, was the winning pitcher in the first game of today's doubleheader, won by the Mets 2-1 in 10 innings. Now Ryban's getting set to work. And the pitch is low, and it rolls a few feet away from Canizero. He recovers, throws on to first, not in time, as Ron Sando's back safely. Canizero walks out now to say a word to young Dennis Ryban. This inning for the Chicago Cubs gives them a total of only 4 off Ryban. Doug Clemens doubled in the first, and Ron Santo legged out of it, and until the home run by Williams, those were the only hits off Ryban. So retired Gabrielson a ground ball to first in the first inning, and then he was the first of 16 consecutive batters retired by the young Met right-hander. Ryban checks and deals, and the pitch is line foul on the right field line, out of play. Ron Santo doesn't know that, and he is digging, and he's coming on to third, and finally he sees the sign of Verlin Walker, the coach, and holds up. He doesn't know it's a foul ball. Now he is being told it's a foul ball, and he looks all around before he goes back, and he's still not sure of it. He's not going to believe it till he is told definitely. And now Santo heads back across the first base. Off the bat of the left-hand batter, of course, that ball was ripped down the line, and when it passed the area where Santo was, it was fair and hit foul down the line, so it was foul ball, but Santo just kept digging because nobody told him. 1-1 to Gabrielson. That pitch is in there for a call, strike 2, 1-2. Gabrielson's playing first base in this game. He is a combination outfielder, first baseman. Ryban steps off the rubber, and Gabrielson steps out of the batter's box. Now we're getting set to go once again. Santo takes his lead. The 1-2 pitch, and it misses low and away. 2-2. That 2-2 delivery. Swung on and golf foul on the ground back at first base. So Santo again has to come back first. Crowd sort of picks him up here now on the waist motion. Again, Gabrielson wants the rosin bag. In the banner contest today, 1,031 entries. Some of them carried by one person, not very many actually. A lot of them by 2, and a lot of them by 4. And it looked to me as though some of them by a platoon of people. That means there were several thousand people involved in the preparation of banners to be brought out here today and paraded as they were. 2-2 pitch. Swung on and hit deep to right. That's going to be out of here. Going, and it is a 2-run homer. And this is a 3-3 ball game. Santo coming on around, and Gabrielson has hit his 3rd home run of the season. That one was boomed way back deep in the bullpen by Gabrielson.
Still nobody out, and Casey Single's on the way to the mound. Two homers and a single so far this inning off Dennis Ryban. And it is the Cubs 3 and the Mets 3. Billy Cowan will be coming up. He's been up twice and struck out both times. Van goes to the bullpen. That'll be all for young Dennis Ryban as the roof fell in on him here in the top half of the seventh inning. It's going to be Larry Bernard brought on. Bernard was in the first game today for one inning in which he allowed no runs on no hits, struck out none, walked none. Ryban pitched 6 innings. He has faced 3 men here in the seventh. He has given up 3 runs on 5 hits. He has struck out 3 and walked none. And Bernard is making the walk-in now. And as he makes the walk-in to check us out on scores of other games, here's Ralph Kiner.
All the Philadelphia Phillies picked up a full game on the Cincinnati Ball Club by winning over Pittsburgh 9-3 in their only game today. The winning pitcher was Jim Bunning. His record now 14-4. Losing pitcher was starting pitcher Joe Gibbons. Richie Ellen had 2 home runs in the game for the Phillies, his 22nd and 23rd. Castellanos also a home run for Philadelphia. And for the Pirates, Clendenin and Clemente had home runs. Phillies now lead over Cincinnati 7 1/2 games. The Giants, if they win, could be in a tie for second place, 7 1/2 games behind. And at the end of 8 1/2 innings, it's St. Louis 2, San Francisco 2, with the Giants batting in the bottom half of the ninth. Gordon Richardson on the mound for the Cardinals against Bob Shaw now. The starting pitchers were Ray Sadecki and Gaylord Perry. Lou Brock had a home run in the 8th inning with no one on to tie up the ball game for the Cardinals. And the Dodgers defeated Cincinnati 1-0. The winning pitcher, Phil Ortega, he went all the way, winning his 6th ball game. He gave up only 3 base hits. Jim O'Toole was the losing pitcher. He, along with John Saturas, gave the Dodgers only 6. Milwaukee scheduled at Houston. In the American League, New York defeated Boston 4-3. Baltimore defeated Chicago 7-3 in the first game of their doubleheader. Wally Bunker, the winning pitcher. In the second game, Baltimore won, Chicago nothing after 4 1/2. Steve Barber on the mound for the Orioles against Gary Peters. Kansas City defeated Washington 3-1 in the first game of their doubleheader. Segui, the winning pitcher. In the second ball game, it's Washington 7, Kansas City 4 at the end of 7. Wyatt and Klein, the opposing pitchers. Cleveland over Los Angeles 6-4 in the first game of their doubleheader. In the second game, Cleveland 3, Los Angeles 2 at the end of 8. Brunette and Kralik now the opposing pitchers. Minnesota defeated Detroit 6-5. The winning pitcher Worthington. The losing pitcher was Glading. In the second ball game, Detroit 2, Minnesota nothing after 1. Mudcat Grant on the mound against Hank Gary. Gates Brown a home run for Detroit with a man on base for the 2 runs. In the Yankee ball game, the winning pitcher was Jim Bowden. His record now 14-11. The losing pitcher was Wilson. Mantle and Tillman home runs. Mantle his 27th of the year. And now that's the scoreboard. Once again, Lindsey Nelson.
Thank you very much, Ralph. And Billy Cowan is up now to lead, or rather to bat for the Cubs with nobody on and nobody out. Facing Larry Bernard. Dennis Ryban worked 6 innings, faced 3 men here in the 7th. It's a swing and a base hit in center field for Billy Cowan. Jim Hickman over up with it, plays it back in, and it's the 4th consecutive hit in this inning for the Chicago Cubs. Brings up catcher Jim Schaefer. He slide to center and fouled out to the catcher. Cubs 3 and the Mets 3 in the top half of the 7th inning. Second game of the day, Sunday doubleheader. The Mets won the first game 2-1 in 10 innings. Now Bill Wakefield is up and throwing in the bullpen for the New York Mets, along with Bill Hunter. But now he throws over to first, not in time, as Billy Cowan gets back safely. Ken Bernard set, and the pitch he squares to butt, doesn't offer, it's high and away. 1-0 is the count to Jim Schaefer. Cubs had an idea that time of having him sacrificed to move Cowan along into scoring position at second in what would represent the go-ahead run. Bernard's again checked. And it's a pitch out. Nothing on, 2-0. Schaefer, a right-hand batter.
Here's the pitch, and it's inside. So now Benoit has gone behind 3-0 to Jim Schaefer. Andre Rogers is waiting on deck for the Cubs. 3-0 pitch, and it's low. He walked him. So that moves Cowan to second. Schaefer's on at first. There's still nobody out, and Andre Rogers is coming up. Rogers has grounded out third to first and flied out to right field. Rogers steps back now to get a sign from Coach Buhl and Walker at third base. Mets have to defend against the probability of a sacrifice here. Score tied 3-3, top of the seventh. Nobody out. Runners first and second. And now it works off the stretch on the pitch to Rogers. Squares to butt. Offers. It's a strike. Throw to second. And it's in there on one hop. Runners back safely. Taken on one hop by Charlie Smith as Billy Cowan got back safely. Vic Rosnowski is being brought in from the bullpen now with pitcher Dick Ellsworth due up next. Don Elston is throwing in the bullpen for the Chicago Cubs. Score tied 3-3. Benoit checks, and the pitch he squares to bunt, tries and fouls it off. So it's a two-strike count now to Andre Rogers. St. Louis Cardinals and the San Francisco Giants have completed 9 innings, tied 2-2, so they go to the 10th. Right now it is Schultz against Shaw. Brock had an 8th-inning home run for the St. Louis Cardinals. Right here it's a 3-3 ball game. Runners lead at first and second. Two-strike delivery. And away. He wasn't offering to butt that time. He was set to swing away. It's 1-2. And this is a 1-2 pitch. Missing outside. And it is 2-2. Cleveland Indians have taken both ends of a doubleheader from the Los Angeles Angels. They won the first game 6-4. Luis Tiant got his 7th win, and they won the second game 3-2 as Jack Kralik managed his 10th win. His 2-2 offering swung on, hit on the ground to shortstop. Taken by Charlie Smith over the hut for one. The relay to first, a double play. Moving on to third is Billy Cowan. Ellsworth is due up now. And he is peeling off the jacket in the on-deck circle. And Ellsworth is going to bat for himself. A runner at third. 2 men out. He has been called out on strikes and flat out center field so far. Charlie Smith started the double play. He's playing shortstop in this game as the Mets rest their veteran shortstop Roy McMillan. Pitch to Ellsworth. There's chopped right off the plate, and it's a foul ball. Strike one to Ellsworth. The Cubs are resting their veteran first baseman, Ernie Banks, in this, the second game of the doubleheader. We're in the top of the 7th here. Now starts the motion. And the pitch is low. 1-1. This is the 1-1 delivery. Inside. 2-1. Check it. Check it. It's the call strike. Shad Crawford made the strike call. It is 1-2. Ellsworth step back, now back into the batter's box. This is a 1-2 delivery. Struck him out to retire the side. So on the top of the seventh, the Cubs got 3 runs on 4 hits. There were no errors and 1 left. Score at the end of 6.5 innings is the Cubs 3 and the Mets 3. Now here's a word to the wise about the smart size in beer.
These are thirsty days, my friends. In this, the year of the big election, the big discussions, it takes a big buy in beer to quench a big thirst. And along the Rheingold beat, your big buy in beer is Rheingold Extra Dry in the big value quart bottle. Take advantage of the Rheingold doubleheader special. More beer for your money, less money for your beer. Reach for the big one. Rheingold in the economical quart size bottle. As good to your taste as it is to your thirst. Look for the Rheingold doubleheader display at your favorite store with the Eladonk, the elephant, and the donkey. Hurry.
We're going on to the bottom half of the 7th inning, and it's top of the batting order up for the New York Mets. Bobby Klaus. He had 2 hits in the first game. He's had 1 in this game. He is 1 for 3. Dick Ellsworth started, still in there for the Chicago Cubs. The Mets had a 3-run lead, but it didn't last very long because the Cubs came right back. They get 3 in the 7th, and that's where we are right now, 3-3. Starts the motion, pitch to the right-hand batter. Is a breaking ball low for ball 1. Chicago Cub defense plays Klaus straight away. That's low and away for a ball, 2-0. Is waiting on deck here in the bottom of the 7th. 2-0 pitch. Run and hit foul back at first. It's given a run by Gabrielson over near the stands, and he can't get it. It's about a half a dozen rows up in the seats. 2-1. Again, Dick Ellsworth starts the motion. Pitch is swung on, hit deep to left. It's way back, chased back by Williams, but this one is a home run. Back Klaus, a home run that hits the pole, and Bobby Klaus comes around with his 3rd home run of this season. The Mets are out in front. They'll score up 4-3. For Bobby Klaus, that is his 1st home run as a New York Met, and it could not have come at a better time, I think. The question was whether or not it would stay fair, and it did as it mixed the foul pole for a home run. And Bob Kennedy is at the mound to make a pitching change here. That is all for Ellsworth as he has given up a leadoff home run to Bobby Klaus. It is Don Elston, a right-hander, who is coming on here now. And for Ellsworth, he has pitched 6 innings and he's faced 1 man in the 7th. He has allowed 4 runs on 10 hits. He has struck out 2 and walked 2. And Elston is the batter. Here's the pitcher. He is making his 38th appearance. He has a record of 2 wins and 1 loss. Don Elston has pitched 41 in the 3rd innings. He has given up 46 hits, 25 runs. His earned run average is 4.61. He has been credited with only 1 save this season. He almost got into the first game. He and Leroy Gregory were warming up down in the bullpen in the 10th inning, and Kennedy made the sign down there, and with two right-hand batters coming up, it was presumed by the bullpen that they wanted the right-hander. Elston walked out there about 40 feet and then was politely told they didn't want him at all. It was Leroy Gregory because they were going to walk Hunt and Christopher and let the left-hander pitch to the left-hand batter, Cranepool. So Elston marched back to the bullpen. This is his first appearance then of the day. Ellsworth marches off into the dugout of the Chicago Cubs. And Elston will be pitching to Ron Hunt, Joe Christopher. Nobody out for the Mets here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Don Elston, in recent years, has been a workhorse for the Chicago Cubs. Losing pitcher in the first game was Bob Buhl. He was losing pitcher of record, although when the winning run was scored, it was scored off Gregory. In 1962, Don Elston, for the 5th straight year, led the Cub pitchers in appearances. He was in 57 games that year. And he was in 51 games last year. And as of right now, he has been in 38 games. So this fella gets in a lot of work in the course of a season with the Chicago Cubs. He was traded to the Dodgers in 1955, but the Cubs acquired him back in 57 for pitchers Jackie Collum and Vito Valentinetti. Now Ron Hunt is coming up for the Mets. Fly to center, fly to left. Hit into a forced play. Elston pitches low into their dugout by catcher Jim Schaefer. It's ball one. Hey, remember, Viceroy is not too strong and not too light. Viceroy's got the deep weave filter for the taste that's right. That's 4, Cubs 3. This pitch is low for a ball. 2-0 now to Ron Hunt. Elston into the motion, and the pitch is in for a call strike. 2-1 to Ron Hunt, who's out it. Mets have had 4 runs on 10 hits. Cubs have had 3 runs on 6 hits. Two-one pitch to Hunt. Foul back off the screen, out of play. It is now 2-2. Joe Christopher waiting on deck. Sterling Slaughter's up and throwing again in the bullpen now for the Chicago Cubs. Again, Don Elston looks in. And here's the 2-2 pitch, and he is called out on strike. First strikeout for Elston as he gets out. We're going to step out for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
You're tuned to Mets Baseball on WGY, WGFM in Schenectady.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Ralph Kiner and Bob Murphy here at Shea Stadium in New York. Al Jackson is throwing in the bullpen now for the New York Mets. As Joe Christopher comes up. 1 man out, nobody on base. Breaking ball swung on and foul right off the end of the bat down the first base line. Down a strike one. Swung on and fouled out to the right side, out of play for a count of 2 strikes. Now to Joe Christopher. Joe had 1 hit in the first game. He is 0 for 2 and a walk in this one. Here's a 2-strike delivery. Breaking ball. Misses way outside and low. 1-2 now. To Christopher. There's trophy game here tomorrow night. And then the Mets will not be back at Shea Stadium until September 1st. That's a Tuesday night when they play the San Francisco Giants. Here's a swing and a foul ball. Count holds to Christopher, 1-2. The victory by the Mets in the first game here today was their 41st victory of this season. The year before last, the first year the Mets were organized, they won only 40 games the entire season. Last year they won 51. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Swung on it on the ground to second base. Jim Stewart up with it, plays on to first in time. 2 away. That'll bring up George Altman, who scored the winning run in the first game in the bottom of the 10th after having a leadoff double, and he's had a bunt base hit and a home run in this game. So Altman gets a little reception as he comes up here to the plate. He asked umpire Shag Crawford to look at the ball, and it's bounced up there by Don Elston. Here's a swing and a foul tip back into the glove of Jim Schaefer. Strike one. The Mets 4, the Cubs 3 in the bottom of the 7th. There's a pitch high for a ball. It's 1-1. Let up. Delivery. Swung on and pops up behind the plate. Schaefer gets rid of the mask, looks for a play, and he's got one. He makes the catch. So Elston comes in to get the side out after Klaus boomed the leadoff home run. The Mets got 1 run on 1 hit, no none left. And the score at the end of 7 full innings is the Mets 4 and the Cubs 3.
Lindsay. Thank you very much, Ralph. Jim Stewart is up. He punched the ball, but Nice is over up with it. Throws on to Cranepool, and he's safe as the ball rolls away, and Jim Stewart is on at first base. The Nice throw was a little low, and Cranepool tried to scoop it, and it rolled on by him a few feet. We'll await the official scorer's decision. He says base hit. A bunt base hit for Jim Stewart. Crowd is not in full agreement, as you can hear. And now Doug Clemens is up for the Chicago Cubs. They will run around at first and trail by a run, so the Mets will have to protect against the possibility of the sacrifice here. Bill Wakefield is up and throwing now in the Met bullpen, along with Al Jackson. Here's a pitch swung on, fouled off to the left side and out of play. Strike one to Doug Clemens, who doubled. Grounded out to first base and flat out to left field. At first base, Jim Stewart takes the lead. A nice pitch on line back to the box out into center field for a base hit. Stewart round second on his way to third. There'll be no play on him there. He goes in standing. Hickman relays the ball in, and quickly there runners at first and third, and Casey Singles on his way to the mound. That one was slashed on a line back through the box. So the old professor again signals for the left-hander. That would be Al Jackson down there in the bullpen. He'll be coming into a situation of runners at first and third, nobody out. The Mets leading 4-3, a tough spot. He'll be pitching to left-hand batter Billy Williams. And here comes Jackson. Jackson coming in to make his 32nd game appearance of this season. He has a record of 7 wins and 12 losses.
An earned run average of 4.59. This is his 8th appearance in relief this season.
Your attention, please. Ladies and gentlemen.
So Bernard
Coming in to pitch for the Mets. Number 15.
pitched an inning and faced 2 men in the 8th. He has allowed no runs, 3 hits, struck out 1 and walked 1. He is responsible for 2 runners on base. And little Al Jackson is the pitcher. Larry Bernard walks off the mound, heads down over to the Met dugout. Casey Stengel is out there now, filling Al Jackson in on the situation. And now here is the final score. The San Francisco Giants have scored 1 in the bottom of the 10th to beat the Cardinals by a score of 3-2. Billy O'Dell gets the win for the Giants, and Barney Schultz takes the loss for the Cardinals. Lou Brock had a homer in the 8th with nobody on. So that moves the Giants into a second-place tie with the Cincinnati Reds, and they're 7.5 games back of the league-leading Philadelphia Phillies, who beat the Pittsburgh Pirates today by a score of 9-3, as Cincinnati was losing to the Dodgers 1-0, and Milwaukee is at Houston tonight. So all the scheduled afternoon action in the National League has been concluded, with the exception of this, the second game of this doubleheader here at Shea Stadium in New York. In case you've just joined us in the last few moments, the Mets defeated the Cubs in the first game of today's doubleheader by a score of 2-1 in 10 innings. Winning run was scored in the bottom of the 10th when George Altman led off with a double and was eventually singled home by Ed Kranepool with the winning run. Bill Hunter got the win in relief, although Galen Cisco pitched 8 innings of fine baseball for the Mets and was removed for a pinch hitter with the score tied 1-1. Right now in the Met bullpen, Bill Hunter and Bill Wakefield are throwing as Al Jackson has come on here in relief. And he is in a tough spot to try to prevent the Chicago Cubs from getting the run that'll tie the game. It is 4-3. The Mets lead by 1 run at this point. And Billy Williams is up. He had a leadoff home run in the top of the 7th. He's a left-hand batter. The Mets keep Charlie Smith and Ron Hunt a double play depth. Now Jackson's pitch. Swung on, hit on the ground to second base. Hunt goes to Smith for 1 to throw to first. He's safe at first base, and the run scores. The call is safe at first. The run scores. It's a 4-4 ball game as they got Doug Clemens. That's to Charlie Smith, but the relay to Kranepool not in time. Billy Williams used his speed to beat the relay, and accordingly he gets the run batted in. That run is charged against Larry Bernard. Score tied 4-4. Ron Santo is up. He's 2 for 3 in this game. The Cubs 4 and the Mets 4. Now Jackson sets and deals. Outside for a ball. It's Ron Santos shortened up as though to bunt the ball. Ernie Banks has moved out to the on-deck circle now for the Chicago Cubs, with left-hand batter Len Gabrielson due up next, and he's playing first base in this game. Ernie Banks has been sent out on deck. Jackson sets and deals, and pitches it on the ground to shortstop Charlie Smith. Charges up with it. He'll have to go to first in time. That was a high hopper, and he took it on a half hop and had no chance to get Williams, who was off and winging, so he played it on to first to get Sando. Williams moving to second. 2 away. Ernie Banks now batting for Len Gabrielson.
Ladies and gentlemen, for Chicago, batting for Gabrielson.
Gabrielson had a 2-run homer in the top of the 7th to tie the game at that point, 3-3. But head coach Bob Kennedy here goes to the right-hand batter against left-hand pitcher Al Jackson. Jackson looking into the dugout, pointing to first to see if they want to put him on. And he's going to be intentionally passed. Ernie Banks is going to be intentionally walked with Billy Cowan due up next. First base open. Score tied 4-4. Ball 2 to Ernie Banks. And outside ball 3. Catcher has to remain within the catcher's lines until the pitcher pitches, and then he moves out. Most of the time, he used to just set himself out there and stay. Here is ball 4. Banks goes to first. Billy Williams holds at second base, and Billy Cowan is coming up. Cowan struck out, and lined to single into left center. We're in the top half of the 8th inning. Jackson up and set with runners leading at first and second. Pitch to the right-hand batter, hit on the ground to third. Taken by Klaus. He goes across the crane pool in time, and Jackson gets him out of the inning with only 1 run scored on 2 hits. 4 errors and 2 left, and the score at the end of 7.5 innings is Cubs 4 and the Mets 4. You know, sometimes on a day like this, my throat gets pretty dry sitting up here announcing a Mets doubleheader. But what really gets me good and thirsty is talking about Rheingold beer. And it doesn't help at all when I get to imagining myself going to the refrigerator and opening up an ice-cold bottle and watching that beautiful beer foam and bubble as it pours out into the glass. And then there's that first taste. Smooth, crisp, extra dry. That's why Rheingold is as good to your taste as it is to your thirst. So all you fans out there along the Rheingold beat, remember this. You're in the driver's seat. Don't waste time imagining how good a Rheingold would taste. Reach out and pour yourself one right now. Then you'll know why Rheingold is as good to your taste as it is to your thirst. Rheingold after Rheingold. For the Chicago Cubs, Ernie Banks stays in the ballgame at first base. Mets will send up Jim Hickman, who is 2 for 3 in this game. Hickman's batting .247 for the season. He's had 9 home runs. Don Elston, of course, is the Chicago pitcher. With the pitch to Hickman, and it is low for a ball. Charlie Smith in the on-deck circle. Bottom half of the 8th, and if you're the home team, this is when you like to get a run in a tie ball game. Of course, you like to get it any time you can, for that matter. But if you get it in the bottom of the 8th, then you have only to retire the side in the 9th to get your win. Elston looks to Jim Schaefer for the sign. And here is the 1-0 delivery. It's on the outside corner for a called strike. 1-1. Banner Day at Shea Stadium. We've had a little activity here the last couple of days. 1-1 pitch. Fair ball outside. 2-1. I don't know what that means. We have activity here every day. There's a ball game. All kinds of activity. Count to Hickman is 2 balls and 1 strike. Delivery. Foul back and out of play. Well, the count is level at 2-2 to Jim Hickman. Elston goes to the rosin bag. Cubs play Hickman straight away. 2-2 pitch. Low for a ball. It's 3-2. So now we'll have a payoff pitch from Don Elston to Jim Hickman. It's on the way. Inside, he walked him. A leadoff walk to Hickman, and Elston kicks it to dirt on the mound. First walk issued by Elston. Gives the Mets a base runner here with nobody out and Charlie Smith up. Now, Charlie was called upon in a situation like this in the first game to sacrifice, and he pulled off a beautiful bunt down the first base line. Cubs have to defend against the possibility of the Mets going for the sacrifice here with nobody out. Score tied 4-4, a runner on in the bottom of the 8th. Ed Craneville is on deck. Elston works off the stretch. Here's the pitch, squares the butt, and takes the pitch in there for a called strike. Banks charging from his position at first, Santo charging from his position at third. Leroy Gregory and Sterling Slaughter are throwing now in the Cub bullpen. Charlie Smith backs out of the batter's box to look down to sign man Don Hefner and see what is on here on the next pitch. Now again, Hickman takes his lead. Pitch, he squares the butt and takes outside for a ball. It's 1-1. Smith was ready to push that one down the first base line. He looks to Hefner again. It's a count of 1-1 now. Third base coach runs through the repertoire of signs and usually has a takeoff sign at the end of the repertoire so that the batter will have to look at the entire run through and not turn away when he sees the sign. That way it would be easy to pick up the sign. Santos way in at third base. He squares the butt down the first base line, and it is taken by the pitcher Elston. Throws to first, and he's out. Nice butt by Smith, covering Jim Stewart at first base, and the sacrifice goes 1-4. But it moved Hickman into scoring position at second base, and Ed Craneville is coming up. It was his single to left that drove in the winning run in the bottom half of the 10th inning of the first game. So Craneville is in the spot to be twice a hero. In this game, he was called out on strikes, lined into a double play, and was on a fielded strike. Don Elston wants his catcher, Jim Schaefer, out there to go over something with him. Elston goes back, picks up the rosin bag, looks around. He's up and set. Pitch to the left-hand batter, swung on and looped out into short left. Andre Rogers goes back and has it lined up. The shortstop makes the catch. Hickman holds it second, 2 away, and now it'll be Chris Canizero to have a shot at getting Hickman in. Canizero has doubled, singled, and sacrificed. He had a sacrifice fly to drive in a run in the bottom of the 6th. Score tied, 4-4. Canizero's batting average for the season right now is .320. He caught 8 innings of the first game here today, and he has caught all of this one up to this point. Elston up and set. This pitch is outside for a ball. Al Jackson kneeling on deck. Again, Elston to the rosin bag. Jim Hickman takes his lead at second base. Elston taking a long time to get the sign. Has it now. 1-0 pitch to Canizero. Low for a ball. 2-0. Bottom half of the 8th inning. Elston again looks for that sign. Works off the stretch with a 2-0 delivery. Breaking ball and misses outside. So it goes 3-0. He's trying to be exceptionally careful to count his error, knowing that pitcher Al Jackson is on deck. Canizero looks to Hefner to see if he is turned loose on a 3-0 pitch. Left-hander Bill Hunter is throwing in the Met bullpen. Right, here's Elston. 3-0 delivery. Taken for ball 4. It was a check swing, and he held up for the walk. But Canizero goes to first for the baseline balls, and Sam's gone down to the bullpen for a pinch hitter, and it could well be Jesse Gander as Jackson goes back to the dugout. They're going to get somebody out of the bullpen to bat for Jackson as the Mets want to try to get a run in here in the bottom half of the 8th inning if they possibly can. Now Gander comes out, swinging a bat. Jesse Gander is coming out to bat. Sam was going down to the bullpen just in case he happened to be there. He wasn't there. He was in the dugout, and he's coming out now.
Number 12, Jesse Gander.
So Jackson pitched an inning in which he allowed no runs on no hits. Struck out men and walked 1. Jesse Gander was in the first game as a pinch hitter. And he grounded out second to first. And his only time up, he stayed in the ball game as a catcher, but did not get up again. For the season, he's hitting .288 with 7 home runs and 31 runs batted in. Don Elston now checks and deals, and here's a swing and a miss. Strike 1 to Jesse Gander. Jim Hickman at second, Chris Canizero at first base. Score tied 4-4. Elston taking his time. Goes to the rosin bag for the second time. He's just killing a little time here. In no hurry. So Jesse Gander steps out of the batter's box. Now Elston looks in again for the sign. Up and set. Strike 1 delivery. Swung on and missed. It's strike 2 to Jesse Gander as Elston goes quickly ahead of him. Runners lead at first and second with 2 men out. Swinging a ground ball to first base. Ernie Banks takes it at the bag, steps on the bag for the out. Gander is grounded out to first base unassisted. No runs, no hits, no errors, 2 walks, 2 left, and the score at the end of 8 full innings is the Mets 4 and the Cubs 4. Tomorrow night will be a big, big night here at Shea Stadium. It is the Mayor's Trophy game, and that one is played annually, of course, for the benefit of Sandlot Baseball in the city of New York between the Mets and the Yankees. It was resumed last year with the game being played last year at Yankee Stadium, and the Mets won it by a score of 6-2. So tomorrow night, they'll have at it again. The game was scheduled to have been played here on June 15th, but was rained out. So dig up the rain checks. There were about 40,000 people in the stands that night, and come on out. General admission seats will go on sale at 5:45 tomorrow afternoon, $1.30 each. And it figures to be a night for a lot of fun here at Shea Stadium. The Mets and the Yankees. Now, Bill Hunter is coming in to pitch for the Mets. He was the winning pitcher in the first game. And he is coming on here now. Jackson pitched 1 inning and got the Mets out of some trouble and was removed for a pinch hitter. As Hunter comes in to warm up, we go out for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
You're tuned to Mets Baseball on WGY, WGFM in Schenectady.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Bob Murphy and Ralph Kiner at Shea Stadium in New York. In the top half of the ninth inning, the Cubs will send up catcher Jim Schaefer. Jesse Gander stays in the ballgame as the catcher, just as he did in the first game. So Gander will bat ninth, and Hunter will bat eighth in the Met batting order, in case you keep that sort of thing. Jim Schaefer has flied to center. He has fouled out to the catcher and walked. Mets got a run in the fourth and 2 in the sixth to lead 3-0 in this game. Then the Cubs came right back in the seventh inning. A leadoff homer by Billy Williams, a single by Santo, and a 2-run homer by Lynn Gabrielson had it tied at 3-3. Bobby Klaus had a leadoff home run for the Mets to make it 4-3, but then the Chicago Cubs came back to get a run in the top of the eighth on a bunt single by Jim Stewart, a line single by Doug Clemens, and at that point Al Jackson came on. Billy Williams hit the ball on the ground and was forced at second base, but Jim Stewart scored on the play, and that tied it up again at 4-4. Hunter pitching, Gander catching for the Mets. Top half of the ninth inning, second game. The Mets won the first game 2-1 in 10 innings. Bill Hunter starts the motion, and the pitch is low for a ball. In the second game at Chicago, the White Sox got 3 runs in the bottom of the seventh, so at the end of 7 innings, the White Sox 3, the Orioles 1. It's McNally against Peters right now. Baltimore won the first game 7-3. 1-0 pitch to Schaefer, swung on and popped up to the right side. Joe Christopher's there. He makes the catch. Run away, and shortstop Andre Rogers, a right-hand batter, is coming up for the Cubs. Grounded out third to first, fly to right and hit into a double play. Don Elston is due up third in this inning for the Chicago Cubs. Action in the Cub bullpen. It's Sterling Slaughter throwing out there. Here's the pitch to Rogers, in for a called strike. This pitch is low for a ball. 1-1 to Andre Rogers. The first game, Bill Hunter worked 2 men, retired them both, and got the win. Here is a 1-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. It's 1-2. Hunter looks for a sign and starts the motion for the 1-2 pitch. Hit in the air to right field, and Christopher races back near the track. He's there now, and he makes the catch. 2 away, nobody on, and pitcher Don Elston gets rid of the cross cap, gets the helmet. He's going to bat for himself. Stops to peel off the jacket in the on-deck circle where he had been waiting.
Chicago pitcher number 36.
He's been up only 5 times this year. He's had 1 hit. Relief man such as Elston doesn't get to bat many times. There's a fellow who's in his 38th game, and he's batting for only the 5th time this season. That pitch is in for a called strike. first pitch. He bunts it back to the mound, taken by Hunter. Full pivot and tag on to Craneford, and Hunter gets the crowd out in order. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left, and the score at the end of 8.5 innings is Cubs 4 and the Mets 4.
Viceroy taste the way you'd like a filter cigarette to taste. Not too strong
and not too light.
Viceroy's got the taste that's right.
That's right. Viceroy is scientifically made to taste the way you'd like a filtered cigarette to taste. Not too strong, like some filter brands that taste as if they didn't have a filter. And not too light, like other brands that keep you smoking one cigarette after another, trying to satisfy your taste. Viceroy's not too strong, not too light. Viceroy's got the deep weave filter for the taste that's right.
Deep weave filter, right. Taste that's right, right. Not too strong or light. Viceroy's got the taste that's right. Viceroy taste the way you like a filter cigarette to taste. Not too strong
and not too light.
Viceroy's got the taste that's right.
We're going now to the bottom half of the 9th inning. Joey Malfitana is playing second base now for the Cubs. Stewart has moved over to shortstop, so Malfitana will bat 8th. And Andre Rogers is out of the ball game. Bobby Klaus is coming up for the Mets. He has had 2 hits in this game. He had 2 hits in the first game. He had a home run in the bottom of the 7th. His first home run as a Met. His third home run of the season. He had 2 with the Cincinnati Reds. Don Elston stays in the ball game on the mound for the Chicago Cubs. The Mets try to pull it out in the bottom of the 9th. That's in for a called strike to Bobby Klaus. In Chicago, going to the bottom of the 8th, second game of the doubleheader. White Sox 3, the Orioles 1. In Elston, starts the motion, strike one delivery, and it is outside, 1-1. Ron Hunt waits on Dyke. This is a 1-1 pitch, and it's inside low for a ball. 2-1 to Bobby Klaus. Klaus has hit .236 for the season with both the Cincinnati Reds and the New York Mets. Elston takes a look around now before getting set to work again. Here it is, the 2-1 pitch. Swung on, hit on the ground. Pass Santa down the line and third. Could be for extra bases. Round first and holds there. Williams charges the ball and makes the peg in. So Klaus wisely held at first with his third base hit of this game, his 5th base hit of the day, and Ron Hunt is coming up. Well, the Mets here are in a possible sacrifice situation. Bottom half of the 9th inning, score tied 4-4. Klaus at first and nobody out. That ball was slammed between Ron Santo and the bag, but Williams used his speed to get over and come up with it to hold Klaus to a single. Ernie Banks holds against the runner at first. Ron Hunt waggles the bat as he waits. He's gone 0 for 4 in this game. Slide to center, slide to the left, hit into a forced play, and was called out on strike. Elston's up and set. And here's a pitch in there for a called strike. Hunt decoyed the bunt and then had the bat cocked, but did not swing it. It's strike one. Sando had started to charge from his position at third. Of course, with Klaus on at first, Hunt's a good hit and run match. Joe Christopher waiting on deck. Bottom half of the 9th inning. Pitch swung on and chopped off foul. 2 strikes to Ron Hunt. Hunt's batting average for the season, .309 right now. Plate umpire Shag Crawford comes around to brush off the plate. Elston again to the Rosenbach. And Don Hefner comes down now for a little direct communication with Ron Hunt. Hefner, the Met coach, at third. Hefner still talking to Hunt. Steps in with a count of 2 strikes. Bobby Klaus takes his lead at first base. It's a 2-strike delivery. He squares to Bennett, pushes the bat down to first base line. It's taken by Banks. He plays to Malfitano, and a sacrifice on a 3rd strike affected by Ron Hunt. Play goes 3-4 if you're scoring, and it moved Bobby Klaus into scoring position at second base. Christopher can have a shot at him now. Nice spot by Ron Hunt as he pushed that one by pitcher Don Elston. He had no chance to field it. Christopher walked, grounded out third to first, flat out to right, and grounded out second to first. He hasn't had a hit in this game. He had one in the first game. At Chicago now, the Orioles and the White Sox are through 8 innings of the second game. The White Sox leading 3-1. The Orioles won the first game 7-3. And the Mets won the first game of this doubleheader here in 10 innings, 2-1, and they're trying to pull this one out in the bottom half of the 9th inning. Elston is up and set now. Klaus leads at second. The pitch to Joe Christopher. Swung out and fouled off for strike 1. It rolls back. That ball hit the foot of umpire Shag Crawford as he takes a walk around. In the first game, head coach Bob Kennedy elected to walk both Hunt and Christopher with Altman at third and let left-hand pitcher Leroy Gregory pitch the left-hand batter Cranesville. Well, that strategy was all spoiled when Cranesville singled to left to win the game. First base is open here. Altman is on deck, and with Klaus at second, the Chicago Cubs are electing to pitch to Joe Christopher. Elston again is up and set. Strike 1 delivery, and it's way outside. It comes by, and moving on to third is Klaus. Chased back by Jim Schaefer. We'll get the official scorer's decision. I should imagine a wild pitch, but we'll wait. Wild pitch is the scorer's decision. That one was way outside and low, and Schaefer dived for it, couldn't get it. That is a big, big base. Because here's what it means, among other things. The Cubs now must play the infield in, and your percentage of getting a base hit changes radically. Also, they may put Christopher on, and that's what they're going to do. By the count of 1-1, he's going to be intentionally passed. They also will have to play the outfield fairly shallow as well. Now here is ball 3 to Christopher. And he starts to first and is being called back. Joe lost count there, and he's being called back, and there'll be one more pitch before he goes to first base. Of course, that can happen because nobody pays much attention down there while the intentional pass is being issued. So nobody actually was calling out the ball turn. Now he goes to first. So here's George Altman. He had a double in the bottom of the 5th and scored the winning run in the first game. He's had a home run and a bunt single in this one. Christopher's on at first. Klaus is on at third. And he's going to be intentionally walked. So Bob Kennedy goes through his same old strategy with Jim Hickman on deck now. Altman is also being intentionally walked. Same strategy he employed in the first game. Let's see if it is with the same result. Here is ball 3 to Altman. Ball 4. So the intentional pass goes. So Altman to load the bases with one man out. And now they call the infield in to shallow position because the fly ball to the outfield can end this ball game. Luke Klein, the coach, relaying the sound to the outfielders. Come on in, play it shallow. They want to cut off the base hit because the long fly ball, even if caught, would be to no advantage because Klaus could tag and score, and that would end the ball game. So it is infield in, outfield in. Hickman is at the plate. He can hit the long ball. Bases are loaded. One man out. Elston pitched to Hickman. This is low and outside. Ball one. Of course, if he uncorks a wild pitch in this circumstance, it's all over anyway. Klaus at third, Christopher at second, Altman at first. A crowd chanting, "Let's go Mets." This is a 1-0 pitch to Hickman. Swung out and hit in the air to short center field. Going out, he shortstop third. He makes the catch. Infield fly call. No advance. He didn't get it deep enough. He was jabbed, and now Charlie Smith is coming up. Hickman actually popped out to short. Infield fly was called as Jim Stewart, playing short, raced back. Now a brief conference at the mound. Charlie Smith is coming up for the Mets. Had a single, a drive, and a run in the fourth inning. He is 1 for 2, a walk and a sacrifice in this game. Now, of course, the Cubs can drop the outfield back to normal depth and the infield back to normal depth. So if the Mets are to win it in the bottom of the ninth, it is up to Charlie Smith now. Now the pitch is in for Carl Strike. Well, you know, the rules say that you must have a man on deck, and the Mets have one, Ed Craneville, but he really doesn't have a bat. He just has the leaded bat. He can't bat in this inning. There is no way he can bat in this inning. So if Charlie Smith gets on any way at all, the game is over, and if he doesn't, the inning is over. Elston working straight away with a strike one delivery. Swung out and missed. Strike two to Charlie Smith. We're in the bottom half of the ninth inning. Score tied, 4-4. The Mets have the bases loaded. 2 men out, and quickly Don Elston has 2 strikes on Charlie Smith. Elston kicks at the rubber, looks around, hitches at the belt. Off his brow with his sleeve, takes off the cap. Puts the cap back on. Slips the ball over into the bare hand. Looks in for the sign from Jim Schaefer. Runners leading at first, second, and third. This is a 2-strike delivery. Swung on and round to the left. It's going to be in for a base hit, and the game is over. A single into left field, and Klaus has scored, and the Mets have won it. In the bottom half of the ninth inning by a score of 5-4, and the New York Mets have swept the doubleheader by scores of 2-1 in 10 innings, and 5-4, winning it in the bottom half of the ninth inning. It was a single to left on a 2-strike pitch by Charlie Smith that won it as it scored Klaus. From third, 2 men were on when the winning run was scored. And so Bill Hunter has been the winning pitcher in both games. He has been the relief pitcher who got the victory in the first game and the relief pitcher who got the victory in the second game. That, of course, ties a Major League record because you cannot very well get more than 2 wins in one day. So here at Shea Stadium, the New York Mets have taken both ends of the doubleheader from the Cubs to take the series 3-1, and it is their 42nd victory of this season.